Hey guys, how we doing? What up? What up? Supplet did not make you more excited to play Revelry down. I mean, it is PoE too, and you've already made your disdain for the game known. So I wasn't really expecting it to. Maybe if there was minion stuff and it was cool enough, then maybe I would be pleasantly surprised by the fact that you would be looking forward to it. But I doubted it. I highly doubted it. Anyways, I have been pretty much offline the whole day. Right from reveal time, I just went straight off. I wasn't interested in seeing anything. I even heard there were leaks or something from this. Like when I woke up this morning, I saw some Reddit posts about some low quality leaks that I just from that moment on, I just stayed away from like Discord, Reddit, everywhere. And it also helped that I was busy at work, so I really didn't see shit. So anyways, let's see this reveal. Hopefully there's good stuff in there. Arcane is spamming YouTube chats. I know he's trolling the usual, but anyways, let's see.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2, and welcome to GGG Live. Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are...
P.S. I do have... Oh my god, Twitch drops. I need to... Oh wait. Don't I just need to open my Twitch, literally, and I can get my drops? Let me just open Twitch real quick. Yeah, I'll just have the Twitch page open while I stream. Anyways,
are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below.
Let me know
now
how
today
let me know how the volume sounds, mine, and then of course the video. Just make sure everybody's hearing this properly and whatnot.
Finally time to show off a new class that we know everyone in the community's been waiting for.
The Druid, let's go.
Let's roll the trailer for Path of Exile 2, The Last of the Druids.
Wake up. Why the fuck is he so fucking naked though? The fuck?
Well, what have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
Yeah, at least he's not
I
still
asked you a question.
Let me guess. Yep.
What's wrong with him?
Whenever you play the Druid, just know you're playing a character whose ass has been exposed to the world, basically. You're basically an exhibitionist in the name of you turn to a wolf or a bear. Now you go. Those chicks have been viewed by all.
He's lost his bloody mind.
So the lore of this Druid involves the king in the mist. I was not expecting that. Oh, I half expected the lore to be more along the lines of, what do you call it? Of this is just the way that, as let's say, Azmiri tribe has been descendant and they keep to themselves, yada yada yada. I didn't think it would be like a science experiment. Ooh, wolves. Wait. What was the? Oh my god! Is this the new Holy Flame totem? It took me 3 seconds to realize this is not the boss's mechanics, but rather it is actually a totem or something. Because I was like, oh, it's just fire. It's probably a boss that's shooting fire or something. What? Oh my god. Oh, of all the skills to launch with, they freaking used rolling magma. Did he find anything better? Fucking rolling magma. Oh, that's cool. P.S. Does anybody recognize this this ability? This was repurposed from the Trials of Chaos boss, the Chimera, when he goes up in the sky and is just shooting ice, his ice breath. This is basically that ability that he just reskinned. I was not expecting a fucking wyvern, so let's go, because that looked like a wyvern or a dragon. So what up, Scissorly?
I will find you.
Oh my god, he mauled the fuck out of them. How you doing, Scissorly?
Now, as you can see, the Druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow Druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the Druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast.
So the Druids were a thing, but the King in the Mist wiped them out. Okay. So they are just, it's not some science experiment. They've been a thing. Just go your recap. I have zero idea.
Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity. The Druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them. The Druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class.
You know the funny thing is I kind of predicted this, that the third form would be like the blue T4 harvest beast. Like they were basically going to use the harvest beasts. So that was kind of accurate though. Kind of more wyverny than I expected, but it was still a bird. So like when you think about it, it makes sense. I was accurate at least. Number one is you with 135 hours. What do you mean?
He needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world.
Is that rain?
One of the first skills you will learn is the ability to create small volcanoes from the earth. This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time.
Volcanic
While the volcano
fissure?
is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period of time, giving you a good chance to turn into an animal and rage out. But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that Druids use. Animal
talisman?
talismans. When
That's
you
a
equip an
fucking
animal
weapon?
talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose.
Also, can I say I actually really appreciate the what the weapon looks like, but that should look creepy as fuck. Oh, the top. Oh, you meant your Twitch recap. Oh, appreciate the time here. 135 hours is a lot. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. When you said just got my recap, I thought you meant like you've watched the recap of the league or the review. I haven't seen a recap. This shit looks like you know, what does it look like? I don't know how to describe it, but it's basically in any horror movie, it's the thing that people use to I don't know, damage some person remotely, if you will. Like it's a talisman where you poke the person's hand and the real body of the person gets poked as well. That kind of thing. That's what this reminds me of. I forget the name.
You'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear, that's Maul. To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack. If you want to change back to a human,
Tell me
just cast
Wolf
a
at
spell.
least has like
You will
movement
instantly
speed
swap back
bonus.
and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate. Changing forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle. In order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam.
But that's just with any slam, so you can actually use a mace slam as well.
While
to
in bear
proc it.
form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with Maul.
Okay.
Once you see the runes on your back glowing, It means you have enough rage to do a much more devastating version of your Furious Slam.
So
Your bear
basic
form can also go.
Rage is not a new mechanic to play with too, right? Yeah, I remember there used to be a support gem that gave us rage as minion users. So it's not a new mechanic.
Stomping the ground as you demolish your foes. The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts. And doing it over a volcano makes it even better. As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has another special feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear. Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
I feel like I've wanted at some point to be able to use a Warcry on a minion build up. I can't remember it at this point. I can't remember why.
Or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do. You can even use it with Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god Kaum. Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer.
There is a Warcry that turns you into
Kaum. You
Kaum.
can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear apocalypse.
People are going to make builds around this, but the rage mechanic, I feel like, is going to be asked to league starts. Like, it's going to feel very, very rough relying on rage that much for your empowered abilities. And I'm sure if you felt what it feels like to use the abilities empowered, you're not going to want to use them unempowered, especially with cooldowns like for the Stampede. I don't see a universe where you use that without it being fully empowered. So I don't know. We'll see what people do with it.
The bear is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the Druid, Wolf form. For the Wolf form, we wanted to go fast and furious. Even just the Wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes. After attacking, the Wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies.
Okay, so he does have movement speed bonus, which makes sense.
Based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen, use your basic rake attack to knock shards of ice off your enemies, which land on the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your Pounce attack. This skill leaps at a target and applies a mark to them. Killing the marked enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them to fight with you.
Oh?
Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While
That's awkward.
an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have. So make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into is your wolf pack dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash
It is awkward. It's dumb blue buff for
also
wolves.
has another feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash.
Yeah, but it's dumb blow, but it doesn't really affect everybody. You can't use multiple strikes to make you feel better. It's cross blow. It's dumb blow if dumb blows relied on marks. I don't know if mark on hit is a thing in this game, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies.
That seems like a lot shot.
If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off.
That seems like a lot, buddy.
Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use.
Why can't we use multiple strikes? The wolves that spawn aren't linked to anything. They haven't told us what they're going to be linked to. I assume they are going to be meta gem, which is what will allow them to be spawned when you fulfill those other conditions. So I assume you can link them to stuff. There's nothing in PoE 2 that isn't linkable. From ascendancy skills, they have their links. From skills granted by items in PoE 2, everything is linkable. So it would be very, very surprising if you can link them to anything.
Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into. So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, cross slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time. The wolf has many other.
But he didn't summon a wolf there. Am I missing something? He didn't summon a wolf here.
Cross slash to explode the mark and gain.
Unless he didn't have the wolf's meta gem, maybe. Maybe that's what happened.
Has many other ways to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well. You can also use it to freeze down to any slam. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well.
So the Warcry will buff your wolves, which is good.
Freeze enemies that are close to being frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos.
Okay.
Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with Lunar Blessing. In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
So wait, wolves don't have rage, but bears do, and as such,
All right, let's talk about the third form available to the Druid, and I think it's a cool one, the Wyvern. The Wyvern has a number of long-range breath abilities.
Before we get into the Wyvern, they would work like lineage in Benedum that is a tag on a supportive that can scale based on something, but now with links. It scales on something, but not with links. Do you mean like a damage per strength or what?
But that doesn't mean you can't get into melee range when you want to. The basic attack of the Wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned,
so yeah, it is a Wyvern. I was right about that.
Blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage. After the battle, though, it's time to.
Can I just say the Wyvern looks so fucking cool?
Feed. Devour the corpses of monsters.
It's actually so cool.
And this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online. When using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this
surely we go a zombie Wyvern summoner,
do a bunch
right?
of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack.
It's not consuming power
Once
charges.
your wings are charged, your wing blast will also do lightning explosions for even more damage. If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all. Alright, so those are some melee options, but how about range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling Magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks.
God.
Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting.
But why Rolling Magma of all these fucking skills?
You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them easier to ignite. If you have power charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for. But make sure you keep your foes at range. You're vulnerable to melee attacks while channeling this skill. In order to help with that, let's take a quick diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a Druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with lightning damage from your wyvern form to enhance your damage. Making things wet also makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well. And you know what else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer and attach more vines to each.
The fact that you said that and I didn't expatiate on what I found funny says a lot, but you know,
Abilities.
that's all I'm
Use
gonna
Lightning
say.
Storm with Entangle to make them last longer and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemy.
So he created the plants and watered them, and that made
Various
them
extra abilities. Likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further.
that is
Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage.
they have to be created in the water.
Now then, with our enemies sufficiently subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage.
All that prep work just to stand still and shoot
this last
lightning
wyvern
oil.
ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies. You have wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
I do love that it's burning the field though. I love that so much. Like that is so
There are a few
cool.
other skills we didn't
This is the boss whose attack they literally took for that. Just so you know.
cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems. Spell Totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will
Finally.
automatically cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges.
Holy fucking shit. You need to
could
use
use them to
charges
throw
for it?
fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in lightning. Really, the options are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your
This is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. Spark totems.
wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. By consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed, but they're also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these.
Probably just
Now, of course, along with a new class,
you can probably just go something along the lines of go literally 1 of 2 skeletons, go sacrifice, and then go what's it called? Go some meta gem, cast on ailment or something, and put profane ritual in there. Now you have power
there's
charges.
a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game. I'll
Nice.
show you a few of the cooler ones here.
All right, let's go.
Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to
Fan the
spread fire from
Flames?
one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them.
Surely it is not fucking after 1 second of being behind them, right? Surely we're not gonna get a sec.
It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast. But you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles.
Wait, it has to be from a wind skill.
Accelerated growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain. And Advancing Storm changes storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse, or to turn tornadoes into a real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along.
That's a very cool looking tornado.
And the Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost. Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to turn into living Tesla coils, arcing lightning to nearby enemies. You
Oh,
could use it with your empowered wings for an extra damage boost.
this is
But it's also great
this
with
kind of
any
cool.
other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear. There's a whole pile more. but we'll leave those for you to
Surely we
discover.
can use it with minion skills, right?
Now, the
Surely.
new class comes new Ascendancy classes.
Okay.
Druid will have 2 options for now, with a third being
Please give
released
us
later.
minions. I haven't seen
First
anything
class is
minions.
the Shaman.
The wolves so far have just been very meh. Like in terms of their summon conditions, I'm not impressed, but Let's see, Shaman. Let's go.
with the third being released later. The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying its animalistic and magical tendencies. By allocating
Spellcaster
druidic
rage is kind of
champion,
nice.
You gain spell damage the angrier you are. And with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower your spells.
Oh, that is cool.
With the knowledge of the Asmerian magic...
Wait, let's go back. What are... No inherent loss of rage. Gain 6% of your max rage per second. Increase and reduction to mana regen also apply to rage regen. Skills which are not default attacks cost +5 rage to use. And then +7 to max rage. So in this case, you just want to giga stack mana regen. So then your giga stack in rage. But isn't this like the is it a, I feel like it's like timeless draw, right? Maybe it's a timeless draw in PoE1 that makes it so you spend rage instead of mana. It's kind of very similar to that, except this one just adds rage to the cost instead of replacing the mana cost with rage. I do like it though. I can definitely see mana stackers going for something like this, because then you really want to invest into mana regen. Probably not mind over matter, because that has a less mana regen tag to it, but you know, stuff like that.
Spend it to empower your spells. With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols.
What are runes and
After
idols?
allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancement.
Oh shit, wait, what was the first one? Increase the effect of fully broken armor. Break armor on crits with spells equal to phase damage dealt. Oh shit.
Only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock
Ignite
countless new
magnitude
possibilities for enhancing your build.
Thank you for the raid. Appreciate you. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hey guys, welcome. We're just late reacting to the reveal. I wasn't live early, so you know, we're here now. We finally got into, I think, ascendancies. I'm hoping there's a lot. Oh wow, Chungus. League looks banger. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't actually gotten to the actual meat of the content, but so far so good. As a primarily minion enjoyer myself, I mean, I appreciate seeing wolves. I'm hoping there's more, but I don't know. I stayed away from all spoilers whatsoever.
You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster. After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury.
This is kind of cool. I like it.
There are other abilities for the Shaman.
But wait, it's only affecting the circle around you?
The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage.
So kind of like Chronomancer, at least
When
theme-wise.
taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
Oh, that's a cool mechanic. But that is cool innovation, at least.
And with converging paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun, or electrocution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both.
So he can deal damage to the two sides, and that will basically repeat the damage. Oh, that is cool. A and B. This is very cool to see. I don't know how it'd feel like to play, but this is so fucking cool to see. What?
With the current timeline.
No, that is actually so cool though.
And one of my favorites. When you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section.
Excuse me,
of
what?
the tree.
What? Excuse me, what? Wait. That can't be true, right? This is the tree, as I guess, as has been revamped for Druids release.
You'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree.
What the fuck do you mean you just get more passives? What is that? The definition of
Allocating the
crit.
unseen path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you.
Huh?
For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing the spirit costs, with the trade-off of making your reservation skills cost more spirit.
Reduce spirits reservation efficiency of skills, but increase for minion skills. So it's 20% increase for minion skills. Oh my god, okay.
Or corruption endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death.
Freaking cheat.
Both the Druid ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other.
It's 40. It's not 40, it's 20. Like, it's 20% reduced of all skills, which include minion skills, and then 40 increase for minion skills. So that's 20% increase average. So like this also includes minion skills. So you get 20% increase, not 40% increase from where you're at.
Or get. So we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these.
I don't know if they can. They are not separated. There's a reason why. PoE2 wiki. I think it's Rabbit's Talisman. Talisman. Brother, the wrong talisman. Brother in Christ, what is going on here? You say see talisman. This is. There's no link. Talisman. Oh, they're idols now. Okay. This is minion skills. Where was a source of reduce? Oh yeah, and I remember. Minion skills liked using. We'll see if I can find it. I'll just find a different build. We liked using that modifier on chess piece because that would give us reservation efficiency on minions and non-minion skills alike. That affects minion skills. That is just skills in general. That is like mana reservation efficiency in PoE1, except you're reserving mana to summon minions. So in this case, it's 20% increase on average. So you're not getting much more value than say the regular node that's on the tree for minion skills, which is 12%. This guy is 12%. So now you get an extra 20%, which is a lot because this is just 12%, and this is the only source on the tree. So you get more than double this, obviously. Not more than double this, but more value for that 1 point. Now the question is, what do you build into it? I don't know. There's a reason they went for increase and reduce rather than less and more, because with less and more they counter each other and you'd probably end up with less. Wouldn't be quite strong, but by going reduce increase, they literally just, it's plus and minus. So you get 20% increase reservation for minion skills, but 20% reduce for everything else.
Now there are unique talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your bare
Adds 510 to 691 fire damage, reduced attack speed, strength. Bear skills convert 80% to fire. Enemies in your presence have exposure. Skills gain 5 glory every 2 seconds. So wait, with this one, you can just use banners. Wait, so are talisman Druid exclusive items? Because if they are not, which I don't think they should be, you can use this talisman on a, what's his face? What's that guy's face again? Tactician. You can use it with Tactician. Glory for Valor. Are they 2 different things? There's Glory. The fuck? Yeah, it's Glory. Skills gain 5 glory every 2 seconds. Tacticians notice banners gain 5 glory every 5 per second. Glory is Valor. In PoE 2. What? So yeah, tacticians can use this. to gain 5 glory every 2 seconds. So that's 15 every 2 seconds. Which means you can have very, very good uptime on banners, basically.
Form into a fire demon, converting most of your damage to fire. As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves
also this fucker is so cool. What the fuck is this design?
Fishes around you. This unique also continuously grants glory, allowing you to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With
that guy is cool.
We create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Vaal.
All right, league mechanic time.
Of Queen Atziri. It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
Am I the only one that's getting PTSD from these layouts? Why are they making us play? Hopefully we have a say in this. Or maybe they're not as bad.
Many functions. And with it, a chance to save the Vaal.
Oh shit, Alva reimagined.
And with it, a chance to save
oh my
the
god.
Vaal. A gateway through time. Travel into the past again and again. Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets.
Oh, this is so cool.
For your sacrifice.
Wait, what did we just do?
For your sacrifice.
Why? Why on earth would we do that? Why? What on earth could be the reward that would make us do that? Synth League but not AIDS? Alva plus synthesis plus heists.
In the deepest chamber, my queen awaits.
I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do. It adores me.
Atziri,
Come
Atziri.
now, give unto me your desire. At last, fulfill my soul.
I mean, this reveal trailer has had the most cheeks we've seen in like cheeks please.
Hi, I'm Mark Robin.
Needless to say, a certain Redditor who is the least obsessed with that series was very happy with this trailer.
Game director on Path of Exile. In the Fate of the Vaal League, you will find remnants of the ancient Vaal civilization scattered throughout Rayclast.
Okay.
They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely. After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power.
Why does this look
but
like
not enough to
ultimatum?
fully activate it. It seems you will need to find 5 more of these arcane devices and sacrifice the monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't
So a bit of ritual is in there too.
always go to plan. These devices are old and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Vaal may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices, you finally discover its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple, once the home of Atziri, Queen of the Vaal. What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple.
Chungus, thank you for the
Atziri's
follow.
personal
How you
chambers are on
doing?
the far side. But how could anyone get there? There are disconnected rooms, and the layout doesn't seem to make sense.
Didn't Crucible also have a build a layouts type mechanic to it as well, when you were going for the forges, or was that just presets? I don't remember if we actually got to build it.
And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient
It didn't?
devices scattered through Rayclast.
Kalandra.
The temple is powered by sacrifice.
Yeah, Kalandra did have it.
And this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place, allowing you to craft your own dungeon to explore. Place paths to link up the dungeon, and place rooms beside them full of precious loot. After you are happy with your choices, open the temple and discover the results of your efforts.
So I assume when you get to maps, you actually get more rooms than 6, because I don't see how you're getting to a theory with just 6. I assume so.
Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you, and you will need to face the encounter within.
Adziri,
choose wisely.
Adziri.
It's important where you place the rooms to get maximum returns.
How?
For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command.
Oh, sure.
With better leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding.
Oh.
Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up.
Please
For
somebody
example,
write them
if
on
you want
the
to fully
thing.
level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so, the golems will be powered up,
After doing so, prepare to get one shot.
making them much more dangerous. You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up, and exactly what effect it will have on the temple. After running the temple, a few of the rooms will destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back,
Oh, okay.
making the temple larger and larger and larger. So that's the basic
In before Adziri's Rush is the most efficient way to do the entire league mechanic.
functionality of the temple. But there is a lot more. Once Doriani finds out about your travels to Leraval, he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission.
This totem is acting weird. This is not the way current artillery ballista works. I think this is a tactician with, it has to be, right, with cover fire, but it doesn't look like cover fire. Supporting fire rather. There's probably a support gem that's making it unleash a nova in like
The temple
like this.
entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point. Right before Adziri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Val. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Adziri to prevent the Val from ever being destroyed.
Surely we can stop her, right, and without killing her.
Adziri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her. And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you. In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms. But while doing so, you will probably want to exploit some of the Val technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards.
Wait.
At level 1, the corruption chamber can be used to corrupt a single item,
Ooh, double corrupt.
but placing it next to a thaumaturge to run the place, and a sacrificial chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it, because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 corruption chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time. adding another enchantment. This has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed. But be warned.
Wait.
Ability to craft some.
Has the Covenant always been in the game? Increase ES max life. Covenant giving max life? And then base life cost equal to 50% of base mana cost.
Very powerful items indeed. But be warned. The Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power. There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
50?
Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases,
50% chance to just
new
lose your
crafting
item. Holy. 21, 23,
example,
finally.
A level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Vaal construct to fight. But if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores. Like Guatalixi's thesis, which
gain armor equal to 25% of life lost from hits in the past 8 seconds. On body armor, it's 25% of face damage prevented recouped as life. And then on boots, is lose 5% per second while sprinting.
on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run fast.
This is the same game that is very stingy on life regen. Don't forget. So you just be bleeding for free, losing your flash charges. Also, you can run faster out of combat.
Or Sita Qualottl's thesis.
You recoup 50% damage taken by your offerings as... Oh? Well, that's kind of cool. I like it. One of your persistent minions revives when an offering expires. Only one. Not the biggest fan, but okay. Sacrifice max life to gain that much guard when you dodge roll. That I actually like. I like the boots one. However, we're not sacrificing movement speed, so I don't know. I don't know about that one, Chief.
Of your minions whenever an offering expires.
Also, I really like the art. It's a fucking nail. I like it.
Get a sacrificial chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a highborn priest of sacrifice.
This is supporting
Defeat
fire.
him to be able to further corrupt a Vaal unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways. One of the mods of this unique will be removed and replaced with another random mod.
Well, that's kind of cool though.
For example, this soul man.
Sorry, go back because Serrano was not strong enough already. What? Okay.
For example, this soul mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod.
Reduce totem duration if you summon it to 10
some
recently.
Amazing items if you replace the downside.
That's kind of cool. I like it.
Now,
wait, also notice it's not fucking corrupted. It just replaces the mod. It's not corrupted. A different way to gamble your items.
Place the downside. Now, one extra thing to mention about these Vaal crafting machines. You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
Oh, so okay, that's nice. I like that one so much. That's good.
Find in the temple.
That's good.
But the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon. A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab.
Wait, how did that level up for being so far away?
Up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab.
Why could it be so far away?
But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab. You might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items.
Surely an ascendancy, right?
On yourself. After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace.
Eh?
Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one.
There has to be a downside,
there's
right?
just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state.
So you literally
You
cannot
might need to
die.
return to the Val Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time.
So let's talk about this. There's a few things I like about the concept of this, but there's some things I really hate. You can't make anything build defining. You cannot. You literally cannot make something where you die and then you just have to give up your bonus. So it can't be anything revolutionarily build defining. B, the items
Surgeon.
that were actually shown,
Thing with
the buffs that were shown rather,
different left arm.
went the greatest. So like at the end of the day, it's a nice bonus to have, but probably not the end of the world if you don't, which is good. That being said, it is giga incentives to create immortal builds, so you can have all 4 limbs gone and be fine. I also hope you can override them, but I would see that'd be awkward if you can't.
So
And the animation is kind of
resurrected,
cool.
Your body will return.
Since it's just free buffs, I'm okay with it. I'm very okay with the fact that it's just free buffs. But the thing is, it will be annoying when if you get all 4 and then you die. That'd be very annoying. And BOE2 has this thing where it just likes to randomly kill you, even no matter how tanky you are, except you go like, you know, some actual broken stuff, like regen stack in last league, you know, as an example.
Into its natural state. You might need to return to the Val Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time.
Mark hinted to it before, so we might get a Val Architect secret ascendancy. Yeah, I kind of figured. The question is, what class would it be under? If it's Val, I low-key think it would be a smith, not a smith, but a warrior. He seems the most opposite, I guess in some ways, if you want to look at it from the Val point of view, who is the most Val-like ascendancy? Maybe ritualist. Probably ritualist. I can see potentially Smith of Kitava. Most likely ritualist or blood mage. There's blood mage. The only counterpoint to blood mage being Val is witches already got a teaser ascendancy last league. It'll be, I don't see them making 2 for witches in a row, if that makes sense. So that's like the only reason it wouldn't be a blood mage, but I feel like that is low-key the most fitting. Blood mage, maybe Infernalist with demon form, but like blood mage more so.
Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward. Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways.
Okay.
Using a Quipalartal's medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up.
Oh.
And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop
Oh my
rooms
God,
from
these names.
destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts. Now, with all that aside,
Oh yeah, so the more rooms you actually have that are like reward rooms, the less likely you are to destroy the one that you want to keep. So you can, in theory, keep double corrupting items because the room stays.
time to face the Architect,
That's cool.
and you will be in for a fight.
The Val Architect. Oh my. Oh my.
Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency.
Just flat fire? Okay.
But also a few other and currency.
Tell me they put a mirror here. 5 exalts, chaos.
but also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the socket balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it. Now, something really important.
I mean, that makes sense. We can't currently do that. I was expecting to eventually get a way to get the runes instead of the items, so I guess that makes
every
sense.
league we release a significant amount of content for the in-game. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Veil works well for late-game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match.
Okay.
Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in endgame, when
What
you
is
can get some
effectiveness?
really big
Is that
temples,
toughness?
you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters. We also start to introduce ways to store.
By the way, for those not well versed in Mark speak, that is essentially saying that that piece of content is going to be so overpowered that you can eventually make a temple that you can't clear, just in case you needed a translation. So, you know, league starts, we're going to be dying on repeat inside that temple. So be prepared. Get your respawn buttons ready. We'll be clicking a lot.
Store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your level. Energy for the We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure.
That's
and not
good.
interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Veil, you will get to face Adziri while she was at the peak of her power. One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Veil herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Adziri communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form. Now, we are not going to show you the whole fight,
The true
but we
Boba
will tempt you
powers.
with one of the rewards. This is Adziri's rule.
Spells which cost life gain 103% of damage as extra phase. +2 level of all corrupted spell skill gems? Huh? That last line though, that's a lot of gain as extra. Am I bugging? Not to mention increased life, so life stacking. But just spells which cost life. So that means you can throw in a covenant and enable this because you add the life cost to it. And this doesn't care about the amount of life cost you actually have. It just needs you to cost life, basically.
This
Combine all that with the Druid and his phase spell rage scaling, and you have a build.
staff gives additional levels to all
By
of
the way,
your
what is the
corrupted
Mirror of
gems
Refraction?
and lets you trade life for extra damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other.
Oh?
So, that's the Fate of the Veil League. But we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game.
Let's see how
along
it
with a
comes
few
in.
changes.
Now, for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore. Rise of the Abyssal is now one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in endgame.
Okay.
If you want to specialize in running
Does that mean there are no tablets?
abysses, there is now a tablet
Okay,
that
there
will
is.
allow you to add them to any map you run.
It would be weird if it didn't have
You
it.
can also craft the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function.
Okay.
Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree.
Naturally.
You can gain your first points by completing its own
Great to see they haven't touched this tree. Everything in this bottom side is exactly the same. maybe this might be different. I don't remember what the icon here looks like, but these are all the same. These are pretty much all the same. These are all the same as far as I can tell.
Now
these are the same. The only question is hopefully they buffed Rogue Exiles, because Rogue Exiles were ass already.
Points by completing an abyss.
Wait, what? Points?
Gain your first points by completing an abyss.
Okay.
But there are more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch of different options. You might just want more monsters and bosses. But you can also make finishing an abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the abyssal.
Oh?
Or make your waystone modifiers also apply to abyssal depths. You could specialize in the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific.
What was that about essences? For increased chance of essences being influenced by abysses, does that mean they will spawn on the abyss, or just what does that mean?
Interaction with other leagues.
What does that mean?
Specialize in a specific.
Loyal to Ulaman.
Abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do abyss crafting on waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that. In fact, we have removed instilling from waystones as well. This
the delirium is one
mechanic felt mandatory on maps.
I told you they would mention it.
Because it boosted the value of all other content. But it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter. Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each. Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency.
Oh!
Even this isn't enough to fully.
This is huge for Ritual. This is huge for Ritual. Can I just say?
The power you could have gotten from.
Okay, someone in circle.
So we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give. Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to waystones outside of the basic currency because it adds too much micromanagement. But on that note,
that's good.
Fate of the Val does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of many different random outcomes.
Otherworldly Breach?
Now, with regard to Delirium, Val does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets.
So it went from an abyss to a breach.
To get one of many different random outcomes. Have it on every. Now, with regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore, we still did want to make it less visually annoying. Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly, so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey.
The Fog Andes won.
Another big source of problems in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame in order to help with this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15.
I don't think they really should hit the numbers by too much.
After letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame.
Doesn't that just suck? Why?
Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So
I don't like that change. I don't like it at all. That is a change I disagree with heavily. Here's why. I would rather fight 5 different white mobs and one-shot them than 2 white mobs and have to spend 2 attacks on each of them. It feels ass to run into a trash mob and spend time killing it. So unless it's like exclusively the magic and rares you're juicing up, this is going to be, in my opinion at least, a bad change. In my opinion, not a fan of it at all.
To be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items, grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life. In addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level. This only applies to regular monsters, not bosses. We have also reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes, which also helps a lot with this.
Okay.
Now, we did have a large amount of content for in-game planned for 040, but unfortunately we
Wow,
just didn't get time to finish it.
unfortunately,
The scope was a bit too large, and so we would need to wait until 050 for that.
my goodness.
But rest assured, there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon. Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in the endgame is game performance. And we have done a lot of work here.
Oh, that is
The
good.
primary issue
You
is
love to
CPU
see
load.
it.
And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized. And we have done a lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU cores. You
Oh,
should
that is-
see frame
that is
rates of
good.
at least 25% higher. And a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay. It does make quite a big
Remember how bad it was literally getting any burning ground map, because that was just literally running minus FPS. You get a burning ground map, it's minus, you're running a minus FPS map, essentially.
difference, especially on consoles. A lot more work in this area is ongoing.
By the way, Arcane, that means Steam Deck is winning, by just in
And you will
case you
continue
were
to see
wondering.
performance improvements over the next few months. Of course, another important area is game balance. And we have made a lot of changes. Now, most of these will
That's what I wanted to text you. I mean, I was here. I wanted zero spoilers whatsoever. Not even like quality of life, just nothing. I wanted to be to come in completely blind and fully react to this with a fresh mind.
save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers.
Okay.
As well as adding 11 new unique items.
Gain 1 druidic prowess for every 20 total reach spent. Enemies in your presence are hindered. What is druidic prowess? It doesn't say. They don't hover on it. I think I'm down for the change, and you know I'm a pack size enjoyer. I mean, I think I'll try watching the interview, and we'll see what they say.
We have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often. We've also done a pass over
I saw an Adorn there. Why?
dozens
what-
of others.
Okay, Adorn isn't really used in PoE 2, to be fair, so that's true. And this, since they nerfed it, it's gone into obscurity. Nobody uses this anymore that I'm aware of, at least.
that are not currently used very
Are these Grand Spectrums? What the fuck are these? And these are from Nothings, I think. Could be wrong.
often.
I don't know what this
We've also done a
is.
pass over lineage supports.
Adorn got giga buffed. I mean, we'll see. Because like I don't see them changing the number of sockets we have. So they have to make it so that each one is like 3x the power or 2x or something. Like something really nasty. This is Ice Bites. Freezing an enemy with supporter skills infuses you with cold damage for a short time. So rage stacking, war cry shouting, freeze, ailment stacking, war cry Andy. But this says when you freeze, so like that's not going to be easy. You just said it. I mean, I figured it has to make it so for every one magic jewel you use, you're getting giga for it. So it's that 2 or 3x.
21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as add
Good for wolves, by the way. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's good for wolves. That you have to freeze. To freeze, you have to be doing like really nice ailments, threshold hits. If you're scaling your wolves, you're not doing that much damage. So it has to be a case of this would have to support maybe something that would proc the actual freeze. I don't know.
done a pass over lineage supports.
Can I say the numbers for what's adorned?
21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as adding 9
Fiery Reclamation, Zibakwa's Rending. Oh, Zibakwa. The Timeless Jewel, Divine Flesh. Fiery Reclamation on landing. Causing corpses in the area you land to violently explode. So DD, but with leaps. Druid wolf skills are innate freeze build up, right? Not really. He has some freeze skills, but not innate. I don't think his wolves freeze, as an example, that I'm aware of at least.
9 more. Alongside the
But like, if you're going to like you do swipes and whatnot, yes, it is freeze build up. But the problem is that is not a pure summoner playstyle, and I'm not here for it. The wild form skills. I mean, if it's self-cast skills, there are some that had ice like ice slashes and whatnot. So yeah.
2 new Druid ascendancies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others, with some of them getting a grand
That's not bad.
rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava. Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced
that's some
90 other
AoE.
active skills across all the different classes. And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new.
Beautiful. I love to see it. The Druids area is finally populated. But that guy who gets more points on top of the more points, what the fuck?
Passive skills added to the passive tree.
What the actual fuck? So basically, there are going to be some nodes that we might end up seeing, and it could literally be, oh, you take this, that's only available to this guy, so now you have a new build that cannot be used on any other ascendancy.
These changes should go a long way to increase the viability of many more skills, uniques, and overall build variety.
They have to be not great. Why would they not be great? It's you're spending your passive points all the same. They have to be at least the strength of other passive points
that can tackle our most challenging content. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs.
All right, let's see supporter packs.
Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter
kind of
packs.
nasty.
The Precursor and Kalguran packs.
Oh, that is kind of ew.
Each tier contains the pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
That bothers me.
As
I don't like the wiggle his body
microtransactions in
has.
packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
That's an interesting mace.
The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Miss me with that, pets.
First up, the Marble Statue character effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to marble.
Oh, I actually like this
one.
one.
Move, the stone crumbles around you. The
AFK
Precursors
gameplay.
have mastery over gravity manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it.
This is okay.
Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the Awakened Precursor armor set. The Precursors designed and built many mysterious ancient beings. This one used to serve as a scout that would patrol and tase intruders.
I don't mind him rolling
Why salvage
around.
gear yourself when the Master of the Forge can do it for you? Molten gold spills out as the Forge Master breaks down your items.
This is cool.
The relic of
It's
the
a PoE2
Precursor's map
exclusive,
device
but it's
is a
cool.
mysterious machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device. The Kalguran pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
What is this? Oh, I like that.
The
I like that
Kalgurans
level
have
up.
astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute.
So this is a supporter pack I am 100% getting because I don't have a single level up effect that I'm aware of at least. So just, I'm getting this already.
Precision. Harnessing that skill, with the Astronomer's level up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat.
Oh, sure.
The time taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of.
12
Crush unique
seconds,
enemies
lol.
by unleashing the wrath of the lost Kalguran fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
A Kalguran seafarer needs armor fit for the treacherous seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a peg leg.
Is that...
The lost treasure weapon skins top off your...
Wait, but if you already have a peg leg, what happens when you inevitably go sacrifice your left leg with in the league mechanic. Do you keep your peg leg or do you go for the meta one that they just outfitted you with the Val?
Appearance of a true raider of the seas. These guild.
What is that?
Top off your appearance of a
is this meant to be like Poet's Pen?
True raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied to wands, two-hand maces, and shields.
No scepters?
After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout. A home of some of the most
I really like this, but
creatures and raid class.
I don't know if I'm a big fan of how slim everywhere is.
Their demise here.
But I like this. I like this a lot.
What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant kraken, waiting for its prey.
I also like this one.
As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout. Alongside this, an extra
imagine a stash where you walk in and it literally applies the fear to your character, and you have to be fear immune to use it. So you throw anybody who comes to your hideout and doesn't have currency, because they walk up and then they just get pushed back.
Stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity. To help have
Wait, what? Excuse me, what?
Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when
let's start from the beginning.
Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your tabs.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Additionally, any microtransactions from these supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
So wait, you can have two different stashes, and one is literally just going to have your currency. Now the question is, can you throw all the other affinities in there? All right, so Ziggy D.
Welcome back.
Initial thoughts. It's cool.
Welcome back.
I would really like to make a build out of the Wyvern form or wolves, but I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe this is possible. Now, before we get into this, we have patch notes, so we can at least look at if they've mentioned wolves. Wait, what is this? Supports curse skills. They create areas which curse enemies so long as they are within them. Curse areas from this gather power before erupting in a column of annihilating light after a moderate delay. So you drop it, it gathers energy, and then boom. Big damage. Hopefully big damage at least. 100% of phase converted to other damage tags matching the supported curse gems tag. Kind of cool. It's a cool concept. You Guatelitzi's ablation. This has to do with offerings, right? Supports offering skills. Sacrifice a portion of your life on use. While offering spikes from supported skills persist, you are periodically granted a power charge. Zombie builds incoming. When spikes from supported skills die, regen a percent of your max life and mana per second based on the duration of the offerings, based on the duration the offering persisted. I'm sorry, what? Sacrifice 25% of your life on use. Okay, just on use. Okay, that's manageable. I thought it was like every 4 seconds. Offerings grant you a power charge every 4 seconds. So this was supposed to be in the fun fact for those that may not know. This was supposed to be in the base game on EA launch, but they removed it. This was the initial effect that Soul Offering was supposed to have, with the exception of sacrificing life on use. You didn't need to sacrifice any life. You just kind of could do it, you know? I'm very happy to see they've finally given us a power charge gen with offerings again. And This honestly, depending on what support gems can be socketed into it to increase the power charge generation, could make something like zombies and whatnot a lot more usable for minion builds, where you just have to have persistent minions that you can use with offerings. Keep in mind, you can have 2 offerings with, is it dance macabre? So now you have 2 offerings giving you 2 power charges every 4 seconds. You can use that to make empowered zombies or whatever you need, and that's assuming you don't proc this other support gem you can give it, which would make it so whenever you gain a power charge, you can get another power charge or something like that. So I really like this one actually. Then we have double corrupting, 21, 23 gems, cool. And then the items you can get from them. Okay, am I missing anything from here? 30 new support gem, Bataille's Vengeance. We've seen this one, which is for each raid you have, you and your allies gain damage as extra code for 20 seconds. So when you have 20 rage, you gain 20% damage as extra code damage. That's fair. We've seen this DD already. Tectonic Slam, less aftershock AoE, less damage aftershocks. 1 additional aftershock ahead and to the each side of the initial. So this is like Cascade for slams. Not bad, not bad. Echoes 2 times with a 1.3 delay. So you use it, it goes again, then it goes again. 50% less power. I wonder if you can use something like this for Corrupting Cry. They become usable after you have moved 10 meters. Accelerated growth triggers on overgrowing plants created by supported skills. Supports plant skills, cause them to trigger an explosion after they have been overgrown. Oh, this is the explosion one. And then we have the 2 ascendancies, which is the Shaman and the Oracle. I mean, we'll have to see what the Oracle entails. I would really like to make it a minion Oracle build, but we'll see, I guess. Where is Wolf? Where is Wolf? We have nothing that's telling us about wolves. Oh yeah, spell totems are a thing. So you can technically pair them with the new offerings to have an easy way to gen. But the fact that it's 1 totem for 3 charges is kind of insane. Kind of insane. All right, so this is where we'd probably see the wolf. Primal Talisman. Cross slash. Shapeshift the wolf and leap backwards as you gouge the ground. With both claws, hitting a marked enemy with both gouges will activate the mark and cause an additional shockwave. Ice fragments will be pulled into the location where the gouges cross and explode immediately. So basically, we need to use the mark. Shapeshift into a werewolf and offer your rage to the moon to receive a blood. Oh, this is the ultimate one. What's its cooldown like? 10 seconds. I expected it. Doesn't even surprise me. Its base duration is how long? 5 seconds. Plus 0.2 per rage spend. So at 10 rage, you'll gain 2 seconds. So 20 to 30 rage, and it's permanent-ish, give or take. And then you have phase as cold, of 100% phase converted to cold. I still haven't seen, like, none of these mention wolves in any capacity. So it's literally just the mark that you use to summon wolves. Maybe I assume they'll be unique as well. I assume it's an assumption. I don't know for a fact, obviously, but I assume there will be a unique that allows you to just summon them or something. But yeah, they nerfed Tailwind. They nerfed unarmed attack speed. They nerfed surrender to be at a minimum 1. Oh, this is an interesting rage change. Physical damage reduction from armor can no longer cause a hit to deal 0 damage. This is mostly targeted at preventing cases where multi-hitting player skills could deal 0 damage to armored monsters at very low levels. I mean, you're doing infinitely more damage if you think about it. Going from 0 to 1, literally infinitely more damage. Igniting aura effects, including ignited ground, no longer apply infinite ignites. Wait. Instead, they apply regular ignites with standard duration and will reapply them after they expire the next time the aura applies from it to that target. This nerfs Demon Dog. Well, actually, it kind of nerfs and it kind of buffs Infernal Legion as well. Because with Infernal Legion, if they left the range of the thing that was applying the Legion, then the burn stops. But now it continues anyways. But it's a nerf in that there's now downtime to it. Wind Ward has been removed. Bullseye now call this Mirage Jedi Ascendancy, which grants Mirage Jedi meta skill. While active, firing a range attack will create a Mirage that uses socketed range attacks for a short duration, then vanishes. So basically like a Sacred Wisp, but different. This is kind of cool. It's basically a Mirage Archer. Continuous contamination remedies, they will be removed. Cannot be heavy stunned while sprinting. Oh, sure. Added a new Path Seeker multi-choice ascendancy passive skill with the following choice. Path of the Warrior can allocate passes from the Warrior's starting point, and Path of the Sorceress can allocate passes from the Sorceress's starting point. This is basically just Ascendant. This is just Ascendant, but that's so nice. I like it. Anyways, maybe we'll actually see some PF minion builds. It's no reason to, but we can cope. Traveler's Wisdom now grants Path Seeker. Traveler's Wisdom now instead grants attribute passive skills. Offer additional points instead. Offer additional options. Increase global damage, global defense, and cost efficiency. So my guess is this is strength, maybe EV, strength, dex, ints. Maybe, or it makes all of them just grant this. I don't know. 82 to 120 seconds, previously 15 to 19.75. Oh, the gig above this stolen modified duration. Now it lasts 2 minutes at a max. That's actually kind of nice. Quality is now plus 1 second per quality, previously 2. It used to be so ass is what that means. You're affected by blood ball. Okay. Imploding impacts now grants fully broken armor you inflict increases all damage taken from hits instead. Ancestral Warhorn minion summoned by now more constantly hits close-up enemies with the second part of its slam attack. Okay. Surprising strength removed. Crushing impact also grants more damage against heavy stunned. Every third slam that doesn't create fissures, which you use yourself, cause one additional aftershock ahead. So basically, cascade again, but without the downsides of cascade. But now requiring every 3 slams. I'm not reading all of this, Chief. Seething body no longer grants while on high this you and this gain. It now grants elemental archon when you cast a spell while on high infernal flame. Does not expire while on... Dude, this is what you've been looking for. You can now actually properly take advantage of elemental archon. You do have to stay high flame. But it looks like if you can somehow manage to stay on high, you can actually be on... You can be on perma archon. That's cool. That's actually cool. I don't know how you'd stop the... I guess it expires when you're not on high. So what you would do is you'd get it on high, and whenever you left high, like you degened, the timer starts ticking, and then you get to high on the next pack, and now it's not ticking again. Whereas you're really trying to not hit maximum. Chronomancer ignores curse limits. Oh no. Inevitable agony granted by this now ignores curse limits. Okay. Max code, max. Oh, this is per 3. They buffed it. I mean, I don't think I know anybody that uses it, but so makes sense. They also buffed this to every 5 seconds. Again, I don't think I knew many people that use it. Death from above. Cooldown is now 20 seconds, previously 40. Now fires a volley every 0.75 seconds. Total of 6 volleys and 14 meters wide. AD is still this. I mean, it's still ass. So you can try to make the shit more appealing, you know, more. You can try to paint it up or whatever, but it's still shit. It's bad. But I don't see a universe where any ascendancy skill that is just innately focus fire from Pure 1 is going to be popular, or like, who the fuck cares? Nobody wants to. At least I don't want to use anything that's focus fire related. But anyways, to each your own. Artillery Ballista now has skill speed. Sage Ballista no longer grants 50% increased damage against immobilized. More damage against immobilized. Mortar Cannon has damage extra fire. Embankment auras. I don't know what that means. Or probably maybe a totem. Maybe an aura for using a totem. This is the fact they had to say this is a buff. Oh my goodness. My lord. Sorcery ward against physical and chaos damage. Oh. I think this is a big buff. Instead of element, I think this is actually a big buff. I am not reading all of that, but power to you, Mr. Invoker, and probably I got Chayola too, because I don't know if I want to read all of that. They got buffed. It's a TLDR. Yeah, they all got buffed. All instances of each individual Archon now just gives you elemental Archon. Mm-hmm. The grand tributes notable from the heart of the well. Unique jewel has remnants that can be collected from 80% further away if you have at least 100 tributes. Oh, remnants. Oh, okay. Companion clusters now generally no longer grant both companions deal increased damage and increased damage while your companions in your presence. So what do they now have? They just have one or the other? Okay. Support changes. Yeah, I'm not reading all of this, I think. Atalui. I saw Atalui. Up to 40%. Read it and weave. You guys are only getting 40% from it at a maximum. We all knew it was broken. We all knew it was going to get nerfed. So 07. Zolspire now has 40% fire as extra chaos. Oh, that's huge, actually. This is huge. All the as extra chaoses are now 40%, which is really nice. What are the use cases I think I would use these? Probably not. Can't think of many, to be honest. Einhard's Beast right now grants killing blows against Reds, grant 2 of their modifiers. I mean, minion builds wouldn't be able to benefit from it, so oh well. Urok smelting was always too slow, so this makes sense. Techrod's Revenge is now 20 seconds. Holy shit, Rivers got buffed. Giga buffed actually with this. So it means they have 20 seconds of uptime when you get this. 20 seconds of uptime with just 40% increased ASCS. Now, if we had move speed, we could be talking, but probably not going to deal with that. What is this? All the Druid ascendancies, like the nodes. Am I missing anything here? Previously erroneously dealing less damage per subsequent hit of the chain. Has a cooldown of 8, previously 5. Yeah, because Living Lightning was so popular. Oh, fucking 7. No more frozen mandibles, apparently. What the fuck am I looking at? Is he... why does it look like he's supposed to be holding the hand of the bear? But it's just his bear all the same. And why is he so fucking zoomed in? What the fuck is this page? Am I zoomed in? No, I am not. My guy, why are you so zoomed in? All right. Open image in new tab. Open image in new tab. Now we can close it because I don't need... All right. Everything is granting 1 passive point. Okay. All the smalls is passive. This guy is basically the passive point variant of Ascendant, while Pathfinder is the start from a different location. So you gain 4 extra passive points, or if you want to be greedy, you can get like 5 or 6. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. You can get 6 passive points max. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you can get 6 extra passive points at the max at the high end. But that's assuming you want to use like 3 of your ascendancies or 2 of your ascendancy points for +1 skill points, which doesn't make sense. I would never take that trade-off, but which one? Oh wait, these don't even give +1. Never mind. It's only these guys. So you're gonna get +2. Okay. So ignore everything I just said. It's only +2 you can get. Passive points. Non-keystone passives in medium radius of allocated keystones can be allocated without being connected to your tree. So this guy not only has that, but he has impossible escape. Well, I guess not. It's not impossible to escape. It's more so, is he a natural leap or whatever they call that other jewel? So he has this. Any keystone you take allows you to take points without being connected. It's kind of cool how it makes you take the keystone, so you have to make decisions in that regard. So that's nice. Then walk the paths not taken, which is what we saw. I think that you just have more points available to you. Reduced or anti-crits, and then enemies crits is unlucky. Damage of enemies is unlucky. So it's harder for them to crit, and it's harder for them to, or than they do on average less damage. Inevitable critical hit sounds insane. Then we have moment of vulnerability, which I don't know what that means. Align fades, which again, I don't know what that means. And then we have hit damage is taken from mana before life if your enemy, if your current mana is higher than your current life, but you have less life and less mana. So you can literally just divert all hit damage to mana if you just scale your mana. But it's much harder to scale mana to the points where you scale life. So basically you double your life pool so long as you're not getting one shots. Because even if you have higher life, so long as you have mana as well. So you can actually go life and mana as prefixes on every piece. But so long as you have like 5k mana, if you have 5k life and 3k mana, you take hits to your life, and then all of a sudden you're like 1k life. Now you're taking everything to your mana until you go below 1k. It's kind of cool. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. And there's no mana regen downside, at least. All right, this guy, we're going to actually need to be able to see what a lot of these things are to appreciate them. So like, it is what it is. And then for this guy, he also gets passive points, because why not? Wait, what is this supposed to be connected to? Oh Lord. This is left over from this guy. I think it's left over from this guy, because this is not attached to anything. I don't. Oh, it's this one. This one doesn't have a line. Never mind. Okay, that one doesn't have a line. The line we see there is the one going to the next node. So this is +1 passive, and then this is bonded mods on runes, which is, I mean, this is fine for minions. Gain 40 spirit for each available empty charm slot. So you can get 120 spirit for free? Sure. I wouldn't go for it, but sure. Okay. Maybe you go for, I mean, I wouldn't, if you only have one empty charm slot, I wouldn't go for that. Now, if they give you if this was the ascendancy that had multiple charm slot scaling, like past 3, then sure, that would actually be pretty decent. Max rage and more spell damage linked to max rage and the rage one. Cool. Then we have early res linked to less early damage per adaptation, matching that adaptation type. And you gain adaptation when hit by early damage, matching the type of the damage taken. So gain 4 less elemental damage taken per adaptation, matching that adaptation. So you can get 3 adaptation types, and you gain it by getting hit by the element. So I don't know that there's a max though. I don't know. Maybe there's a max. Maybe there isn't. Then this guy is linked to what? This is Apocalypse. Damage taken recouped as life, and then early taken as recouped as ES. Phase taken as cold, phase taken as fire, phase taken as lightning. So this is just 50% phase taken as elemental. Adaptations have duration of 10 seconds. Take less per adaptation, matching the adaptations type. Okay, it's not bad. I don't know if this 10 seconds is a buff or a nerf. Maybe it's a buff. I don't know. And then we don't know what this is. Okay. All right, back to the 07 on Frozen Mandibles. So that's gone. Then we have buff specters. Buffed summon specter variants of certain monsters in each act and their endgame variants. Further details on which monsters have been adjusted will be posted separately prior to release. This means we'll get information, so I am proud of that. I'm proud of you, GGG, for actually giving us information prior to release and not letting us just hope we see it in Path of Exile. Or not Path of Exile, POEDB after launch. Thank you. None of these are any of any concern to me. Whirlwinds now take on elements from overlapping elemental ground for 8 seconds. Previously 4. Following skills fix the following skills having modifiable limits that were not described as limits. Oh, so that's Reddit posts for the win. Ancestral Cry. Ancestral Warrior 2 no longer has less attack speed, so that's a step in the right direction. Cast on minion death has been giga buffed, so that is good as well. Skill speed, wow, you have a frenzy charge. Oh, it's no got more skill speed, it's now increased skill speed. Okay. Doesn't really affect me much, but okay. Fangs of Frost. Why does this sound like a druid skill is already getting nerfed? Or is it just me? Was this skill in the game? Let's check. Period to wiki. Perform an icy stat that exploits enemies who are already off balance. Having a hitting a parry target consumes the debuff. Also, oh, so it's just one that nobody is. Okay, fair. It's not a druid skill. Gathering Storm, Goes Dance, Herald of Thunder. Raise Zombie. Empowered zombies now deal 122 to 253% more damage with hits. Surely we roll a zombie build, right? A wolf zombie build? Question mark, question mark. Exclamation points. We have a lot more power charge, quality of life, that it actually does make sense to try to make zombies work. It does mean that Lich will probably be better with zombies than anybody else because she has literally an ascendancy that prevents the downside of the offering, which is a sacrifice 25% of life. You know, you can still go CI with it with, you know, the Lich. So we'll see. We'll see. Raw mount no longer increases move speed. Now has 100% reduced movement speed penalty from using skills. So now you no longer get slower, but you no longer get faster. We kind of expected this, to be honest. They also buff sacrifice, so you can actually use the cast on minion death sacrifice tech a lot more easily, because now instead of reserving 60 for cast on minion death, it's now 30, and this is now, you know, less harmful to your minion revive skill, which is good. Now gain 6% increased attack speed per 2 rage. This was described on the gem but not functional. Holy. Reavers got buffed again? Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it. Maybe I'll actually make a Reaver build this time. Maybe. I don't see them having AoE, so unlikely. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see. Anyone else I care about? No? Okay. The Adorn now has 150% increase. Previously 0 to 100. So basically 50%. That's actually underwhelming, but okay. 66 to 333% increase effect of socketed soul cores. I mean, good luck. Good luck. I can see it being used now at least, so there's that. It's no longer 100%. It can actually be used, but I don't know. Svalin has, you take 0 to 20%. Svalin got Giga buff. What the fuck? So if you roll a 0% Svalin, you just get Lucky Block for free. Essentially. I think it still reduces your max block, but so there are two things you need to roll on this Svalin. But that is much better. I'll take it. That's really good, actually. Wrathpit got nerfed. Not surprising. Covenant got buffed-ish. Cost was nerfed. Damage was, or Leech was giga buffed. I'm assuming Life Remnant allows you to actually drop Life Remnants like the Witch, what's her face, Blood Mage, right? Yeah, Life Remnant. So it basically goes, it's basically this. They essentially put Sanguinemancy in an item, but better because the item actually gives you the leech portion, and I think you have to spend extra. Don't you have to spend extra points to get? Okay, no, they made it so you have this by default, right? Something like that. And then you can spend your first few points on leech. So you'd spend 2 ascendancy points to have the covenant, or you can just use a covenant on someone else and have that, and have a pseudo forbidden flesh and flame, if you will. Kind of weird design, but I won't question it. It's very weird design. Cloak of Flame is now 50%. What the hell? This is going to be expensive this league. This is going to be fucking expensive this league. Cloak of Flame on Infernalist is actually going to go crazy. Because that's 70% of face taken as other elements. That is going to go so fucking crazy though. Only thing is you won't get to livestock, but you already are going to be using beta shit for your life and for your spirit and for spirit and ES already. So like, and then you still have your Hellhound who can take an extra X amount of damage from you. This is going to be expensive. I already know Cloak of Flame is going to be expensive. Anyways, Lightning Call is 30 to 50 from still from hits. So you got buffed. The Surrender, Vow Tower Shield. That's the only change. This went from reduced life to increased life. That's how bad it was. They buffed Sacrosanctum. Isn't that the ES recoup item that we said was not going to live? That we thought would get nerfed? Isn't it this guy? They buffed it? Okay. 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 I don't know what to say to that. I didn't see a buff coming in his future. I could never have predicted that. They buffed Spirit on Morio Invictus, which is very needed for it. They just buffed everything, really. It needed it. It really needed the buff. It was trash. Kind of nerfed Queen of the Forest high end, but Giga buffed the low end. Made it easier to get to the cap too because it now has 25% increased base. Oh wait, is it 25% and then 50% limit on the second side, or is it 25% plus whatever this is up until 50? I assume it's 25 plus that to 50. Could be wrong. Don't care enough. Elemental ailment threshold increased by chaos res. Armor is increased by fire res. ES increased by cold. This is an interesting change to Skin of the Loyal. So you can just giga stack your like increase ES by getting resistance. Now this is not, you know, there is no chieftain in that regard. But doesn't this guy have chieftain nodes? Yeah, he does. So in theory, you can go armor stack with, you can just giga armor stack with fire res basically. Giga stack fire res, that gives you a shit ton of increased armor on Smith of Kitava. Sacrifice of Blood Keystone granted by this now grants regen 1 life per second per 16 life spent in the past 4 seconds. They double tap the fuck out of this. What the hell? They nerfed I mean, Atalois was going to get nerfed anyways. But they halved the regen per life spent. So it's now 1 in 16 instead of 8. But they also have the duration. So it's past 4 instead of 8. So, and then they reduced, they gave it the classic triple tap. Holy shit. Good luck using this. 20% more life cost of skills. All right. Now that has been triple tapped and the rest of the game is happy. Item changes. Rune sockets are now augment sockets. Non-jewel items are going to augment sockets, have been renamed to from socketables to augments. So they are all augments now, from soul cores to runes are all augments. Same with talismans as well. Wait, why? Why would you rename the talismans into idols when you could just freaking make everything augments? Why? Why give this? Why leave this about amount of bloat in the game? What is the idea here? Why not just make everything augments and call it a day? Why do we still have idols and augments? I'm guessing we still have soul cores in that case, because what the fuck? That's dumb. That's actually dumb. Anyways, X items that have invalid augment sockets from the following will be unable to be used until the sockets are once again valid. Sakawal Rune of the Sky has been limited to 1. Rune of the Chase limited to 1, so you can no longer stack 3 of them. Saj. No more 60% movement speed. Did I ever get my 60% movement speed boots? Is now not the time to log into PoE2 and actually claim that? What's this? Anyways, so all of these are now limited. Reduce the effect of curses on you by 10%. Increase exposure effect by 25. Magnitude of damaging ailments. Magnitude of non-damaging ailments. Total power granted by war cries. They nerfed this. Well, I guess it wasn't nerfed. It's not just increased cost efficient. Well, it's not this is not the one we were using as minion users. It was Ralakesh. That was nerfed from being able to get to 12% to 8, but now you only use 1, so you actually can play around with your second helmet slot. So that is actually not bad-ish. We get to less minions, but it allows us to still get other advantages from helmets. I can't be too mad at that, actually. You lose 4 out of 12. That's 33% less reservation coming from our helmet, though. Yeah, we'll see. It's not the end of the world. At least if we keep Abyss crafting in the game, we can still get on chest and helmet those regular modifiers. That's assuming we keep it. I don't think we will, but I haven't read anything about Abyss crafting yet. Armor applies to fire, lightning, and cold have been buffed by 10%. Limited to 1. This was Giga nerfed. What the hell? This was massacred. I know people who would be very sad about this change, who had plans to make Riku builds from last league. Limited to 1 boys -5 chaos res. Basically, all these guys have been limited to 1. So basically, any non-rune has been limited to 1? Question mark. Kind of not great, but oh, there's still desecration. That's what this means. There's still desecration. Okay. Not really interested in all these things too much. Of the mage modifier +1 to all spell skills on focus and amulet now has a level requirement of 10. So you can no longer get +1 spell skills below level 10. I don't necessarily give me bits. So they nerfed levels on staves. Please don't tell me we got hits by this. Perfect essence of battle is -1 level. It's -1 level with all items. So they buffed the alternatives while nerfing what we get from level essences. It's not a bad way to go about it, but it would be nice to come with a rework of how levels scale. But at the same time, I actually appreciate the way levels scale because it gives you a clear cut goal for scaling some spells. So, and it's a contentious topic. I don't mind level scaling. I'm used to it. I would wish there were other things that could compete with it, like gain as extra. So if those things can get buffed, then I'm fine with it. I don't know what this is. Maps no longer scale pack size as you increase in tier. They instead increase non-unique monster effectiveness. Effectiveness grants monsters increased life, XP, and quant. Tablets now have a max of 4 mods. And you have to beat Arbiter of Ash. He no longer drops a rare corrupted tablet. All mods that rule on generic precursor tablets can now run on all tablet-based types, and they've been disabled. 07. That's actually a nerf to every single tablet because now you can get mods you don't care about. That's a big nerf to all tablets. That is not great. But anyways. Remove Breach, Ritual, Delirium, and Expert from the map legend as they no longer have icons on your atlas. Yeah, I actually forgot they had that mechanic now where it's just random and you don't actually path to them. Improve visibility of fungus explosions. That's good. Bosses now have an anti-burst mechanic. Once a boss has finished its emerge or becomes aggro, the damage reduction period starts counting down. Tapers down from full effect to no effect over the course of this duration. For every unit the boss moves from a certain location, it falls off even faster. Bosses which cannot move or barely move have a shorter damage reduction period. So what about the chick that literally launches with a rolling slam? Does that mean she just spawns and can insta die? I hope so. Costa's lightning barrage skill should no longer hit with 9 projectiles at point blank range. I think I remember seeing someone dying to this. There's a new cursor tracking input option for keyboard and mouse, which allows skills to continue updating their target location even after the skills input is released. When switching between controller and keyboard in character selection screen, the game will remember if you use WASD or not. Nice. So Prolif was bugged and now it should be better. Did not display correct active swarm limit. That is good. So now we can go from 3 ravenous swarms, which is cool. Maybe I'll try to make a ravenous swarm build this time. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. Did they finally fix the unearthed bugs? Because there are so many skill support gems that could not support unearthed because it's a spell, but it has melee minions. But you can't put melee support gems in there to support the melee minions. Shit pissed me off last league so much. All right, so we finished this. What are my thoughts so far? My thoughts so far on everything we've seen so far is I'm looking forward to PoE 2's release. Really looking forward to it. But I am also kind of disappointed at the minion stuff we got. Because so far, at least, there hasn't been anything too insane being added for minions. And I had a lot of hope for Druid at least launching with more minion stuff. We're getting Wolves, which is big. It's our first non-undead minion in PoE, as far as I remember. So that is huge. I mean, aside, let's say, not Roa, because Roa it's not a minion army, obviously. I was hoping for a non-undead minion army archetype to be enabled, and I was kind of hoping we would have more minions to play around with. Wolves, birds, bears, whatever the case may be, just more choices. But as it stands, it doesn't even seem like we have a wolf gem. It just seems like, oh, you can summon wolves if you do this, and this. And I'm not loving that. So we'll see how it feels. I am no longer sold on starting Druid, if I'm being honest. However, I will probably still start Druid, just not because of the minions per se, but because of that Oracle guy. What the fuck do you mean you just gain points on the tree for free? Like, just by existing, you're seeing more nodes on your tree, including reduced reservation for minions. So your minion skills just, huh? So that I think is very cool, and I'd like to explore what he has in terms of those skills and those passive points rather. But yeah, those are my overall thoughts. The league mechanic looks fun. I have a few concerns in that there is a universe where it gets tiring to run with how big the layout is. They did say they did address some of the concerns already, in that you don't have to run like the 6, like you don't have to do the Val every 5-6 maps because you have all the energy you need. You can actually store it longer. So I'm happy they addressed that. But they did say, or it sounded like they mentioned, that it also requires you to have an item. I don't know if this item is rare or it's very common. I mean, they didn't say, so I'm hoping it's I hope you can just store it indefinitely until you're ready to just like giga farm the mechanic or something. You know, I don't want this to be like, oh, every 20 maps you have to do it, because you'll get tired of it. That shit looks like it takes a while. So, and I'm sure it's going to be hit or miss for many people. Like, really, it'll be like Crucible, and many people didn't really interact with Crucible as far as I know. Like, it was really good player power, but people just didn't care about it. And I think this is going to have that same effect, where there are people who are just not going to engage with league mechanic. So I'm curious to see how they preserve or how they delay the feeling of mechanic fatigue that might come from running it as often as we might have to. I really hope they give us a healthy leeway when it comes to that. But overall, it looks very fire. It looks very good in terms of the actual interactions. I really love what Alva now looks like. Like, I really love the reimagined Alva. I didn't know what to expect when it came to reimagining Alva, but I'm very impressed by what they did. Yeah, those are basically my thoughts coming out of the reveal video and looking through the patch notes. I was kind of hoping for more minion stuff, but we'll see when they release more information about Spectres, I guess, to see who got buffed and maybe who we can make a build around and all of that good stuff. And then again, we're still probably going to try to make wolves work. We just don't have information on that yet. So we'll see. All right, we have a Q&A to watch, so we're going to start that in a second. But first, I want to quickly get water, and I actually want to get water and I want to pee. So I'll be back in a second. Then we can continue. Then we can start this. Okay, I am back. Let's start the Q&A.
To the Q&A portion. I am your host, Ziggy D, and today we're going to be touching on the design of the Druid and the Fate of the Vile League while we gather some community questions. Then we'll deep dive into endgame, balance, and other game design topics. I am, of course, joined by game directors Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts. How you guys going today?
Oh, very good. I mean, you know, it's been a great one to work on this one. Like, I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's definitely great to see you again. And it feels like it's only been like no time at all since the last time you were here with the PoE1 release.
It feels like only several weeks, and that's pretty accurate.
yeah.
We get to see you twice as often now, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm around every 2 months or so now, roughly. It's great. I love it. Let's keep going. So I do have to open with this, though, is like, Druid looked a little bit weak, I think, in the demonstration video today.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that we have is like we're so concentrating on like just demonstrating how the mechanics work that we sort of forget to be like, okay, let's actually make sure the damage numbers that we're doing on this like test character we're filming here are actually like in line with what people actually normally expect. So yeah, there's just a few things there that we probably should have caught. And
I'm not the most bothered about seeing like damage number, like seeing the actual damage it's doing there. Like, yeah, it looked weak, but at the same time, I figured why it would look weak. I didn't think it would be a balancing issue. That being said, there's always the risk that it actually is weak, you know. And regardless of what we see, it can look insane and then actually still be weak. So that's why I don't put too much faith in like how it's clear, because everything there is like campaign zones with whatever character they put together, and we have zero information about it. So like, I don't know how to be bothered about it anyways.
And made a little stronger there. But yeah, when you actually play it, it's certainly from the alpha feedback incredibly powerful. Like,
yes.
you know, like, you know, we were seeing some people say, oh, you know, the wolf looks weak or whatever. Well, I can assure you that on alpha, there's a bunch of people saying the wolf is super OP. So, you know, it just comes down to the things you go through in order to demonstrate stuff.
I think we probably going to be worthwhile. We make some videos showing a bit more of the less demonstrative side and get them posted and stuff this week. Because honestly, you can just play it literally right now, and it's you know.
Yeah, I've definitely been playing and recording a bit myself, because I was like, when I first watched it as well, the draft, I was thinking, it's like, I don't really get a feel for what it feels like to actually play it. Like, there's good demonstration here of the mechanics, but yeah, I can understand how from your perspective, it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, we want to communicate how this cool thing works and this cool thing works.
There's a fine line there for sure. Where if you get too hectic, people are like, I don't even know what's going on. They're just looking at a ruckus. And then, yeah, in this case, I'd say we went on a little too far on the other side of the line, was just a bit too slow. And as a result, yes, it can look a bit weak. But
yeah, I think we'll try and get some like raw Druid gameplay out to people.
I assume there's going to be ways to make geysers echo.
It's so hard for us to,
which would be nice for us.
And be like, oh, that's just a demonstration. We kind of know what it would look like at endgame. But I think with the Druid, it's just so unusual. It's so different that it's actually hard to judge what it would feel like to even play it. And I'm happy from my hands on to say that like it's almost immediately like very smooth. The shape shifting of it, the movement of it, especially because like in your demonstrations, you're not really using dodge, roll, sprint, that sort of thing as well. Which makes a big difference.
I suppose one of the things we didn't really dwell on in the video as well is that we do actually have dodge roll. I mean, they're not actually rolls for the animals, but yeah, all the animals.
I saw the bear's dodge roll.
That kind of stuff. And that was honestly one of those things that was like kind of funny, because initially we actually had it so when you dodge rolled, you would transform back into a human. And the reason we did that is because it's really hard to make animations for animals that like actually work correctly. Like we actually thought it was impossible, but then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the
wasn't there supposed to be a rolling bear?
Like, you know, while I'm hopping around. So we ended up having to like work out like how can we make this possible?
I feel like I remember seeing a rolling bear when the Druid was first talked about, which was
being pretty good.
A big talking point, if I remember correctly.
Like the hardest class to design so far, and it took a bit longer. Like I think you were originally hoping to bring it out in a previous expansion.
Yeah, quite a while ago. But the thing is with it is that it's kind of like designing 4 classes in one, because not only do you have the situation where like obviously we want to have synergy between skills and stuff like that, and we can like look at that in a normal class and work out what those might be. But with this class, people want to be able to play just as a bear or just as a wolf, as well as people who want to play like dual with a human and a wolf, or people who just want to be a wolf and a bear, and like all the different combinations. So we had to kind of come up with a way for like each line needs to be self-sufficient and that it's got all the tools that you need. But at the same time, you have to not have it so it feels like there's just duplication between them. We're like, oh, like this is just the same thing as what a bear has, but you know, you are a wolf instead. So we kind of have to like, it's like you need all the tools, and yet you also need to have them feel different. And that just made it really, really tricky to get all of the things right with it. And then it didn't also help that, you know, since the last time we were working on the Druid, way back when we showed it off in Gamescom 2023, we had WSD. And that is a whole other complication because, you know, like how can we make that work with the animal forms? It's like a whole thing. You know, like I'll tell you the wyvern, for example, like we had a hell of a time making it so that you could do the ranged attacks because you need to be able to walk while you're doing it. The wyvern's sitting there with its arms like planted on the ground, you know, like being able to walk while also spitting it. Yeah, it's like we went through so many iterations of that. So yeah, it was just a very tricky class overall, like just crazy.
I remember seeing some very goofy looking like wyvern like months and months ago.
Yeah.
You were like trying to, this is not working.
Right.
Like,
Well, I also remember like for a long time the wolf was just like a dancing dog. It was just like it looked really silly. And like man, the wolf as well. I mean, it was really hard to get right, and because one of the things we really wanted to avoid was I didn't want.
These are the conversations.
Like man in a wolf suit.
These are the conversations I really appreciate when it's coming from game devs, because it really shows how difficult it can be to be a game dev. Like all the little things that probably went into making the rigs for the different forms to make it so it not only, of course, was functional, but give the expected, I guess, feedback when you're actively using it. Shit is not easy. So I really appreciate conversations like this, anyways.
Vibe. Like I wanted to actually get the feeling of like this is an actually different animal, which I think with the bear and the wyvern's way easier. With the wolf, it's like it's really hard not to just go back into that. So we had a lot of questions about like what even the locomotion was. How does it walk? Are we going to walk on 2 legs? Are we going to walk on 4? We ended up splitting the difference. You can do both, right? Like you get that when you're attacking and you can be upright walking on 2 legs. When you're walking, you run on 4, and you actually do get a speed boost while you're on 4 legs, like as a wolf. Just
So how do you get yourself to wolf form to just passively run if you're doing some hybrid setup? Do you have to actively tell yourself, okay, we're going to end on this wolf skill every single time so we can run? That'd be awkward.
Like 1 second of walking, you go down on 4 legs, you start moving a bit faster. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
An interesting thing there, I don't think is each form technically has a kind of passive benefit.
Right.
So obviously you've got the running fast as a wolf.
Stun resistance for bear.
Exactly what the wyvern ones were, but like for the bear, for example, because you're just a bit bigger, you know, a bit of a tank. Yeah, you actually do get armor, and armor applies to elemental damage as a thing, and like, you know, there's which is like honestly, unless you actually click the bear keyword, is like undescribed everywhere.
Well, it was even more than that, because I was just looking at it in game before. The bear has like passive endurance charge generation.
Yes, it does. From rage expenditure, it does.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we really wanted to make sure that each of the different forms had things that can benefit the other forms. So like it was really tricky to think like, what are resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources that wolf can generate? What are the ones the wyvern can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get that cross synergy? So yeah, that's kind of like one of the reasons why we had to kind of come up with all that stuff. And that, part of the trickiness.
And that caught me by surprise as well, because like technically it's mentioned, but I never really fully understood the idea that you can swap between the forms, like human to animal and back. Yeah, I figured that's what's going on here. But you can like leap in as a wolf and then immediately transform to a bear mid slam.
You absolutely can. So the thing with this is that you want to present a fantasy to someone as far as like what the UI is pushing you towards and all that sort of stuff. Like there are going to be a lot of people who are like, I want to be a bear, and they just pick bear stuff and they go all bear, right? But at the same time, we're unconstrained in the sense that you can pick all the other stuff. You can use it at the same time. So one talisman, like effectively when you pick on a talisman from like wolf, bear, or wyvern, what that's giving you is the default attack, right? That's what you're actually picking, and that's all it is, right? And that often will guide you, like what skills you're picking and so on, but you can just use with that same talisman as many different animal skills as you would like. That just means that you've got that sort of free-flowing, like, you know, trying out different stuff, sort of combo gameplay that we you know, like to try and get. So, you know, obviously there will just be a lot of people who just pick one thing, right? Like I absolutely expect that. Yeah, no, there's a lot of experimentation to do there if you want to do it.
Yeah, so you've tried to hit.
What all the other skills they haven't mentioned are
like a simple, straightforward. Like I just want to run out as bear and slam the ground. Like that's certainly very possible there. But also, you with this whole class, you had the problem of.
Please tell me, talk about wolves though,
and a melee attacker that's shapeshifter as well. I mean, this class has got a bit of everything.
For sure.
How did you make all that kind of like work together and solve that build problem of like, how do you actually scale these things together in a way that just one thing isn't way better than everything else?
Right. Well, I mean, it's always tricky, and Mark's obviously the one who handles a lot of the balance stuff. But I can see, even just from a design perspective, So I just throw over the fence all my horrible stuff, and then you're like, how the hell am I going to balance this? Effectively, like, so even with the spellcaster side, so one of the things we initially wanted with the spellcasting is a lot of it's like over time type effects that, so for example, with the volcano being the really obvious one, right? Like you can create this thing, and then you can turn into an animal and do other stuff at the same time. So we needed on the human side a lot of things that last for a long time. But the problem you then run into when you actually go to balance the thing is like, okay, well, if you've just got like 5 damage over time style spells, why not just cast all of them and then you don't have to ever do anything else, right? Like, so it's like that kind of stuff makes it really hard. So then you have to start thinking, okay, we want to make it so that you cast a long-term thing as a human, but then being an animal is going to augment that so that it improves it. So for example, with the tornado, it's got a similar mechanic to the little twisters that the hunters have, where ground effects can empower it with extra
bonus damage
elemental stuff. And so then we're like, okay, well, if the animal forms are the ones that can create the ground effects, then that means that you're kind of like, you're going to want to do, like, to mix that with the tornado, you now have to have both the animal forms and the spellcaster stuff if you want to get all of that together. So it's just a lot of that thinking about how can an animal form aid a spell, how can a spell aid an animal form, like all the way through. And then, as I said, we throw it over the fence, and then Mark tries to work out what kind of numbers can actually make it
it's a web of infinite difficulty, right? Because like we're talking about the 4 forms within the class, but each of these skills also synergizes with every other class and every other skill in the game, and it's becoming growingly more complicated. But that's also what's fun about the game, and what all the things you can unlock and the crazy builds you can do. But I mean, like, this week's focus has been like, okay, we had all the, like, during our alpha testing and internal testing, we had like, there was the I want to be all forms going between, there was the I just want to be wolf, I just want to be bear, I just want to be a dragon, and now we're getting a lot more of I just want to cast nature plant skills and do plant stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, how do we make that work? Well, because they're quite long duration, so we're having a bunch of complexity with that as well. And it honestly it does just spiral into like, oh my God, there's 20 million variables here. But it's fun. And at the end of the day, as long as it is honestly fun to play, then honestly we're golden. So, I would say we're pretty much there on almost everything with this class. I'd actually say we're a little bit more prepared than normal. We've had a lot of testing. Despite, I mean, partly because it's been in the works for so long. But it's...
Quick reminder to claim your Twitch drops. I think we've all been here long enough. Do not let them expire. It's free stuff. Pick them up.
I don't know, like, ultimately pretty fun. I'd say there's still obviously there's still more to do. There's obviously always more to do. But there's a lot going on, a lot of enjoyment. I saw yesterday, I was just like walking past someone's computer, and someone was mentioning like, it's just fun placing 6 volcanoes and then just slamming on them. I was like, all right, sweet, you do you. Like, that's fine.
I was definitely enjoying obliterating bosses in bear form, like with dropping tornadoes, and there's the totem which you can summon in animal form, and then you're putting fishes down and they're exploding, and you're putting extra things on the ground and they're exploding. And there was definitely some boss deletion going on there. So.
Even just walking past the many entangles going out, and then there's that plant support general. Like, all right, it's putting the new.
I see chat being like, no, Zig, you don't get it nerfed. I do have to admit that I did already get one thing, let's say fixed. Okay. There was a thing that was like double generating rage. So I'm like, I don't know if this is intended. Right. And like, no, the designer said that's probably not intended. Thanks, Ziggy. I'm like,
I don't know. I we'll see where that goes, because I was like, no, that's fine.
This is a fish.
It made it to me, and I was like, no, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it generates rage when you first slam, and then the fishes, every time they pulse, it generates rage. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't even know that.
Because like the totem's making a pulse, and that's generating rage.
Right.
I'm like, that doesn't seem intentional.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I love that, because that's like ridiculously powerful. That feels like way permissive. I was like, this feels illegal, but that's like... You gotta let a few things in there that feel illegal.
It's doing what the skill says.
I may not have. Maybe I didn't get it. Okay, cool.
I don't know. They might have changed it. I'll find out afterwards. I just throw my opinion in there. I don't want to necessarily be like, I try and make sure with a lot of these balanced discussions, it's not like, I'm just an authority on the matter. I want to actually discuss these things through, because maybe it isn't actually fine, but my first instinct is like, let it run wild. Like, what's the problem? So
yeah, you got to.
We'll see what happens, but whatever. They don't know what the problem is, so don't worry. Oh, now they do. Thanks, you ruined it. Now people will know if it changed, and now
Yeah, they'll see the thing not generating rage, and they'll see that line of text. Now that's the Ziggy line of text. I'm developing a reputation now. It's just helping finding bugs. It's okay. So, like the shapeshifting stuff comes from this trinket, the talisman?
Yeah, the animal talisman.
And it's
a two-handed weapon.
Kind of like putting that on another class and just say like, I am playing my mace marauder or my quarterstaff monk, and I want to do a wolf leap slam that marks targets.
You can do it. In fact, it was one of the things initially that it's funny with the audio team, because initially like, oh, we want to record like bear lines for the druid the whole time, and I'm like, hey guys, remember, anyone can turn into this animal. You're actually going to commit to every single class is going to have like three different extra versions of every single line the character can deliver. It's like, that's a bit tricky. So we ended up going with voice mod in the end. But that was one of those.
It's like
voice mod is a smart idea. What did I think of patch notes? Thought they're good. They're okay. Nothing crazy that I could see. 07 to Frozen Mandibles. I'm proud of GGG for saying they'll give us more information about Spectre changes before launch. We'll see how much information they actually give us and if it's useful. Yeah, not much else really changed that I think was worth noting. Zombies might be a thing because they give us sources of power charge gen and buffed their use of power charges. So maybe I end up making a zombie build or something. Not entirely sold on Druid, but we'll see. Overall, patches were fine. So many skills were buffed numerically. Yeah, I think that there are quite a few buffs, and there was I looked at the Abyss Keystone. That she got like quadruple tapped. Well, triple tapped, and then Ateluis, of course, got nerfed. So that archetype got quadruple tapped. And I thought it was cool that Pathfinder has part of the Ascendance kit, which is being able to start from somebody else's starting location. And then the other half was, who got the other half again? The Druid that has the extra passive points, half of it. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Like their thoughts. I think it shifts to. It almost sounds like.
They also nerfed Tailwind, if I remember correctly. Went from more to increase or something like that.
Every single line an additional 3 times, so every character class.
Voice actors, everybody come back and we need to roar like a bear.
Exactly. Effectively, every class can be an animal. It's exactly the same as the weapon restriction. Ultimately, being a bear is the same as having a mace, which may sound a little bit odd, but that is actually how it works and what allows having.
Whoa. I didn't even think about that. Wait, so you can use mace skills while in bear?
No. What I meant was that it's the same. I mean, it's the same in the sense that it's just a weapon type, right? Like,
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it, now we have to make that possible.
Well, I mean, you can turn into Calm as a bear.
That's unique item territory for the future.
It often gets talked about, like the idea of like, why are things like so weapon-like?
I was a bit meh after a review video, but was more happy after patch notes and the interview. I mean, I think I was pretty chill. My only gripe is minion stuff, really. We didn't get much in the way of that. I was hoping for more druid specific minion stuff, or maybe not druid specific, but like maybe even more information on wolves. Maybe there's a way that wolves can be used that I wouldn't mind using them, but thus far nothing has impressed me. Using a mark to summon them is just very, very meh. It's like chat said, it's like Dawn Blue but worse.
And I've always maintained the position that you guys want to kind of do that as much as possible initially, and then in the future you can blur the lines a little bit. Like there's maybe in the future you're like, oh well, maybe this skill has a way of crossing over.
We can do, but the thing is, a lot of the identity of a weapon type really comes a lot from what it can do, and so that's the main reason why we do it that way. But but the thing is as well with the weapon swapping, I mean, you can still use skills from different elements, different weapons and things
well,
like that.
The thing is, like, it's funny that you mentioned that with the bear because, like, definitely some of the bears, I noticed parallels between some of its skills and some of the mace stuff, and I could see absolutely combining like this bear skill that places fishes with the other stuff on the mace that triggers the fishes. Like, there's like very obvious like cross synergy build.
Well, I
there.
mean, they're adjacent classes, right? I mean, you've got like strength versus strength int. Like, we want to be able to make sure that some of those key elements do like cross over, just so that to open up the way to have synergy between the different classes more easily.
I think Druid is a weird class to showcase. Like, it doesn't look that interesting gameplay wise on first impression, but I wouldn't touch Bear with that MS. I don't think Bear had any negative MS to it. I mean, you never know with PoE too, but I think they just didn't give it MS items. I think that was just it. It's like saying the same thing for Wolf. The Wolf wasn't that fast. It's just because, like, for the most part, we saw the Wolf in combat, so it didn't have its bonus MS. It only gets bonus MS out of combat. So, you know, I think it's just the items the character had.
Yeah. Well, as you get more classes and more skills, you obviously get an overlap of the kind of.
Now, granted, the bear will probably use armor items, and with armor items, you do have a bigger, less movement speed modifier. So there's that.
Words and stuff, you know, iterating, and thus they will always cross synergize. And where there still will be new things a class offers, yes, there's always going to be a bunch of stuff that they use that will then interact with all the other skills. So.
Yeah, and now you added plants and plants that grow from rain, and there's a plant keyword that has overgrown as a keyword.
Yeah, yeah.
Like...
It's interesting actually, those ones, because they're on completely opposite sides of the tree. You've got Dex versus Strength Int, and that's been a little bit hard to kind of like get the where the mechanic should go on one side versus the other.
I've been watching you since I started on only 53%. That is weird because I've gotten mine. That is weird. Did you have, if you had Twitch on the background, it's possible the what's the word I'm looking for here? It's possible the client went inactive or something.
Where we ended up going is that the nature,
which is kind of dumb for what Twitch is supposed to be. But I think that happens.
You've got the poison on the Dex side versus the kind of like just pure nature, like physical damage spells on the on the strength inside. But that's been fun though, because now it's actually been really fun designing the supports, because you know, the more classes we have, the more we can start to think, okay, like here's a support that's for something obscure. How can we make it so this can apply to some other kind of thing on the opposite side of the tree, where like now you've got some interesting interaction. So there could be some kind of like thing where growing plants as a ranger could be sort of something. I mean, like I can't say I've tested the potential there myself, but like we made all of that work. All the plants can, you know, like plant stuff all has mechanics around like watering the ranger's plants is like a thing. They all have ways that works.
I mean, that definitely opens up interesting party options in the future as well. Like I do like the idea of being like a rainy druid watering.
It's a thing. It's easily a thing. It's not even hard to do as well.
Right.
It's kind of just like, thanks, druid, you buffed poison rangers.
Yeah.
That's kind of just what happened.
Yeah.
All right, good, yes. And the rain buffing lightning skills as well, by increasing shock chance and stuff.
Water mechanic. What do I think about the water mechanic? I think it's cool conceptually. I was not impressed by the AoE on the rain though. I was not impressed by the AoE on that rain. I think if it was more set and forget, it would be cool, in the sense of like you cast it, you're not too concerned about the exact place you're casting it, because the AoE is like half a screen wide or 3/4 of a screen wide. But like that shit was very, very small. So like, why the fuck am I like, why do I want to cast the rain in this small area? So this small portion of this, and like literally they were casting spells that was like going across the screen, and then the rain was like this small circle. Like, brother, why? And large plants weren't even that big. I mean, it depends. I don't think I noticed the difference too much with these vines that were slapping, but I also think they didn't really show that skill before the water. I think they only showed it after the water. I guess if I was Ma says it's not disparaging, but that is properly disparaging.
It's pretty wild how much stuff you've just jammed into one class here. How did you like kind of settle on a identity for the wyvern in particular. I feel like people know what a bear is, people know what the wolf is. And even a lot of the like druid stuff is pre-established as like, oh, you got plants, and you got like nature, and you got like lifting up the earth, that sort of stuff.
Well, we really wanted to have a third form that was a little bit out there in terms of different from what you'd seen in another game. I mean, obviously, like every game that's got transformations has the bear and the wolf, right? That's just like the staple. But and actually, for that, funnily enough, for that reason, we couldn't. There was actually a period there where we weren't going to have a wolf because we were a little bit unhappy. Yeah, with us, and it's just like, well, exactly right. That was the reaction. That was the reaction of like all the furries come out of the woodwork and like, you gotta have a wolf.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare exactly right. So we're like, okay, we'll have a.
I'm thinking if I was a pie joker with 2.5.
So that was a real concern. So we decided to go. We needed the two familiar, and then we needed one that was a little bit more out there. And really, when we were looking at the bear and the wolf, it was kind of like we want the slower, harder hitting. We want the faster and like speedy kind of version, obviously being the wolf. We also wanted something that had some range elements, and then a sort of more spellcastery vibe a little bit more. And so we sort of thought about it a little bit like, what animal is ranged? Like, it's not really, there's like kind of not a lot out there that can really sort of do that. And so, eventually we settled on the wyvern. I mean, someone of course at one point was like, how about a dragon? And we're like, what the heck? What are you talking about? But then eventually I thought about it, and it's like, actually, you know what? There's some potential here.
If you suggested to me, I told you not to do it because like, there's no way you could make it look good and not look stupid. But it eventually worked. It was hard though. We did get there. It actually looks pretty cool.
I mean, if they went for a dragon instead, it would have actually been
almost like it's got a bit of a range.
Kind of easier to make it look good, because I mean, for those that don't know, the biggest difference between a wyvern and a dragon is just a wyvern doesn't have hands, it has wings and then 2 feet, whereas a dragon has four limbs and then 2 wings. So it has its hands, it has its legs, it has its wings, so it can crawl and fly and whatever, whereas a wyvern has its wings as basically its arms. So if they made a dragon, it would have been much more easier to animate everything else, but then you have the problem of, well, how does its melee attack look? Is it just a bear swipe type deal? Is it like it can't use its wings? Dragons don't really fight like that, so I get it.
Yeah, and you were asking what the passive buffs were. I was looking at it before. It's like it's got buffs to freeze, shock, and energy regeneration. Actually, like as well, like energy recharge. I think.
It's a shame you knew. The reason I was actually being vague is I knew what they were. I just wanted to change them.
Okay, I mean that's fine. Do something.
Sorry for my slight disingenuousness.
Do something cool.
I kind of feel like they shouldn't. I didn't want them to be offensive benefits.
Yeah, they're supposed to be defensive.
It forces you into certain build types. Whereas, like, if they're utility or defensive, that way they will work across all board. That's my general philosophy. So I was like, I feel like I want to have a go at trying to design the energy shield thing. I don't mind. I wanted to have a go at designing stuff that's more utility
energy
or
shields
only, and that way you don't feel like, oh, I should have to play lightning or fire because it gets the passive benefits. That way, if you wanted to do a kind of weird out there thing, it doesn't feel so bad, but we'll see what I come up with.
Do you have an idea, or are you still figuring it out?
Nah, I got no clue. I don't know. You could play on the fact it's got, like, wings to, something defensive for block, or something for, hard carapace maybe, or, I don't know, the fact it has wings, something to do with the wings,
much dragon lore to pull from. I got like a book that my daughter really likes to read that's like full of dragon lore. I'll send you some ideas.
All right, sweet, yeah. Dragon, they hoard gold, right? Gold finds? Yeah, that sounds like it.
Eat piles of gold for buffs or something.
There's gold over there. Quick, shapeshift, pick it up, shapeshift back. No, I'm obviously joking, please. I'm not doing that.
Gold find, no, please don't. Mandatory dragon gold find build. I know it's kind of funny though. It's distinctly PoE. So the druid is this like strength int class, and with the Templar we had the idea more of like you've got that armor energy shield stuff, but that's still the case here, as that's the strength int base. But I feel like the energy shield stuff is not as iconic to druid. How have you incorporated that and made it feel like something that makes sense, or like in what ways have you incorporated that to the druid? I feel like it's not obvious.
Yeah, look, it's a little bit off in terms of the feel there, but at the end of the day, we kind of don't really have many options as far as what we can do.
I mean, they could have given the wolf a bit more energy shield stuff, seeing as it is the whole. I mean, they're trying to play on the fact that cold thing because it's associated with the moon and everything. Well, the moon is also associated with like energy shield to a degree. Like if you really think about it, it's not far fetched, right? Make it so whenever it goes into the Arctic wolf form, it has bonus ES regen, or I don't know, max. I don't know. I don't say max ES because then it would be quite strong, but like just bonuses to ES essentially. That would be one way to incorporate ES, and then of course bear would be the armor variant where you get more armor by being bear, and then you go for the vibrant, which is kind of like a hybrid where you can go either or. Maybe if your ES number is higher than your armor number, it has a certain color. If the reverse is the case, it has like a red wyvern, and that's all it. Like you just change its color, that's it. You know.
Be that it has that, you know, like armor and energy shield approach. There's a few sort of interesting, what do you call them, spirit reservation gems. I don't know what I can never remember what the official name of that is. That sort of interact with that stuff in a dual way. So there's like that bark skin thing that effectively allows you to take advantage of energy shield to generate armor. Like, so when you lose energy shield, you get armor instead, and like it like creates little bits of bark on your skin.
Cool.
As you there's like
Isn't bark typically armor AV?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a thematically weird thing. I think probably the weirdest part about that is like, yeah, you're gonna have energy shield as a bear. It's a bit strange, like, you know, getting hit as a bear and then there's a little energy shield pop. But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Kind of has to be that way.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, I suppose, sure, you can go full armor if you want, but
well, like,
yeah.
I feel like because there's like such a range of identities within that one class as well, that you've got the bear maybe that doesn't really align as much with that. There's definitely more armor stuff.
Yeah,
going
so
on
you could build more strength when you, depending on what animal form you're playing, of course.
Yeah, whereas like the wyvern potentially has more of that kind of magical aspect to it, where it's like that's
I mean, and that's why the wyvern itself does get the benefits to energy shield, and the bear does get the benefits to armor, in order to kind of make it so you are, like, depending on what animal form you're going, there's a bit of alignment in the defenses there.
I mean, really, it's the tree that inspires and motivates this, right? Like, a sorceress could be on the bottom side of the tree and still have the same skill set, and, you know, obviously the damage nodes are a bit weird, but it could work. There's nothing saying. I mean, that's part of the beauty of the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had that experience where I was like, because it wasn't as clear, I was almost inventing my own lore there a little bit, where I was specking the regen from the druid, and then the zealot's oath right there. I'm like, oh, this actually, like, you're converting your natural kind of like life regen into energy shield. Like, oh, this is kind of the druid's thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, that is a way for sure. Like, keystones certainly are pretty powerful, and we have a bunch of, I think there's an extra, I can't remember what it's doing. There's one that says do not translate on it, so it's in progress. But yeah, we were playing around with trying to have some armor, energy shield, more hybrid stuff going on with the keystones there. It was based on, what's it called? PoE1's, is it Divine Shield? Is that the name of the keystone? I can't remember.
Yeah, Divine Shield.
Names. But, you know, it's based on that, but not exactly the same, like a derivative of that we're trying to get going. But, yeah, it's just because I was like, we need more keystones that I feel more druidy, and I know there's a rage one there that is embracing the animal ferocity, where it like, what does it do? It's like doubles your maximum rage, but makes you don't get inherent bonuses from rage. So it's like, if you really want to do the skills that are rage consumers, like rampage, and you just want to rampage for as much time as possible, you obviously go for that keystone. You lose the benefits of rage, but you get to rampage around for twice as long. You know, so a few things like that we're trying to add that are thematic as well. And I think that's another one of the really cool parts about adding a class is 1/6 of our tree was just filled with just placeholder garbage. Like, actually, like, there's a giant link thing there. There's no links in the game, really. You know, it's like, what are we doing with that? You know, it's like, and
I mean,
so I, like,
I think it's still there, right?
Make that a plant thing. And,
oh shit!
And so now it's a plant thing that talks about overgrown plants. And but we filled in the whole bit of the tree, and guess what? Now witches and sorceresses have more energy shield stuff on that kind of direction around towards the druid, and warrior has more. And you know, and I don't just mean energy shield, I mean everything, all the mechanics, right? All the int mechanics are kind of there, the strength mechanics, everything. So
it is nice we finally have a class in every different part of the tree, so like we don't have this like weird open stuff anymore.
Yeah, that area of the tree was a little strange. I mean, it's such a.
I think I pointed this out 2 days ago, but like, look at how barren this side of the tree was when it comes to just sheer empty space. And the only reason here is not empty is because of the link, like you said. Versus, look at this. Where is the fucking space? So yeah, huge for this
the
skill tree.
I have to wonder, like, you added this Oracle class. Like, I saw the Shaman one, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I expect. But then I saw the Oracle, and you guys had like 130 extra
So
passives.
far.
So far. Like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, that seems ridiculous.
It's fun.
Because it's cool.
130 extra passes.
Right?
I was like,
What more could you want?
I really went through. I mean, I know we showed 2 examples, but I was like, I really want to make sure there's like cool off-spec stuff here. I want to make sure that if you want to be able to get more of a certain thing, this is a way to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, it still costs passive points to allocate, right? So it's more about, you know, maybe you want some stuff that normally you'd have to go to the deck section for and get, you know, maybe some projectile related stuff, and now you can get it up there because it allows for some kind of weird off class. And it was all themed around, you know, if you got to live your life again, what would you change? Like, what different paths would you take? And so it's this interesting, like,
It's an existential crisis as a node.
That fits pretty well.
Initially, I always write my little blurbs about them to you know, get them in the live stream, and I was like, it's got all the passives not yet added to the game. I thought it was an interesting way of looking at it. Not that that's actually how it is, but I thought it was like a kind of, it's like lessons you learn, you get to now use in advance kind of. I thought it was just a cool thematic thing that linked to the class. And it's easy, by the way, to, as designers, to see that kind of thing and go, we have a million things to do. Like, is that really, like, that's too much time, too much work, right? And I'm just like,
Sad, isn't it?
if we say that about everything, you get nothing cool.
Yeah.
And so it's that, and I mean, even the shamans, like runes revealing hidden powers, like, we're setting ourselves up for a large amount of cumulative time over a while, right? Any rune we add, anything, like, we have to add and consider the shaman stats, and that's another whole axis of things. We have to meta balance every league, and same with the Oracle passives, and every time we change the tree, and like when we eventually add the Templar, we're going to have to relocate all those nodes because that tree's going to get a giant. Now we've got 2.5 classes in one section, but it's worth it. It is actually worth it. You add so many builds, so many cool things, and if you don't want to deal with it, just pick another class. It's fine. You know, you don't have to. Pick other nodes on the same class. You know, you don't have to take that node. So
I think this like very clearly communicates that you're also okay with this idea of there being just like hidden cool stuff to discover that you're not going to know ahead of time, because you can't like look at the class options on the character selection screen and know what the passives are going to be that are hidden behind the Oracle ascendancy, right? So it's like, yeah, that's cool. That's fine.
That's why we have PoEDB.
Look, there's always going to be community tools, and they're going to come up with a way to make that, you know, to the build guides and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, like,
I love the secret stuff. I actually got my secret Abyssal Lich.
Yeah, wild.
It was an actual final secret, and maybe there's more. Well, you want to do more of
that, don't you? I can tell. Look at him. He wants to do more.
I mean, there's definitely going to be a Val Ascendancy.
People having cool secret things they can find, and it isn't just like 1000% pre-planned out of the gate. Like, I understand the need to plan. I understand the need to have confidence in a build, and you don't want to go in and only realize you've made the wrong decisions and stuff like that, for sure. But I definitely want to find that balance where you have that while you also get your cool secrets that you get to add to the game that are fun.
Yeah. I think there's like a couple more chat questions on Druid, but we'll try and move on to the other stuff soon, because I know people want to talk about the other thing. I could talk about Druid all day. I think the design's super interesting here. But
minions?
Some of the questions were that I think people are a bit confused about like the talismans and the forms and how that stuff works. So the talismans are effectively just like another weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like attack speed, movement speed on gear, and everything will affect you in your movement.
Absolutely.
Animal forms. It's not like, I think because a lot of other games do it where when you change form, like all of a sudden, oh, your weapon's not affecting you, or this thing's not affecting you.
I mean, that's how it was before.
So we're doing the changing form by utilizing weapon swaps. So you've got 2 weapon sets inherently, and the talisman effectively serves as your weapon. Yeah, like if you're playing a druid, you are going to have to learn how to use weapon specialization passives and stuff like that if you want to have the spellcaster and melee thing. Now, a lot of the passive tree nodes, like in the druid section of the tree, all have like attack and spell damage and that kind of stuff. So like certainly for most of the start of the class, you won't have to worry about it. But as you get deeper in, and if you want to do hybrid spell attack, you are going to have to, you know, think about like, okay, what are my attack passives, what are my spell passives, and
anything like bottom would be premium.
How simple and straightforward it was to do So like the weapon specialization tree thing, you still do need to think about and understand how that works. But the basics of it, like using the actual skills, just happens automatically. Like I didn't ever have to actually go in and
no. You don't have to worry about that part. Just because of the fact that because this has always been the rule, but it's really apparent here. Like if it'll swap to the weapon set that can use the ability, so therefore you don't have to actually tweak. You just put it in and it kind of works. So
like if I tried to use my spell, it would shift to human automatically and use the staff. So like that was all automated, and I didn't have to like.
While we get this default pulls back on Tower releasing with the new season and moves just launch just 12 hours before. It's 12 hours before PoE2 season launch? Talk about setting yourself up for failure. What the hell? It's on the same day? Okay.
Program like that.
Right.
Like I have on some other builds, I guess, where it's a bit.
Yeah, mostly that's just because you get into a situation with those where because it's usable on both. Now you have to start going in there and tweaking that stuff. But here, because it makes it much simpler when you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so there's a decent.
I mean, I wish them luck.
The potential complexity.
Power to them.
All right, so we'll move on now to the Fate of the Vaal expansion, and there's definitely
no mention on the actual wolves. Ziggy, you're not asking the important questions here.
More of a like clear divide between the two things, and you even actually made two separate trailers this time around.
Well, it would have been super weird to have these like two completely clashing themes in the trailer. So in the end we were like, it's like normally of course we'd make one trailer with everything, but we're kind of like, man, it's really hard to unify these two things in a kind of reasonable way. So in the end we decided to go with two trailers and just like show the content completely.
Two trailers for double the cheeks.
Like, they're not connected. Like they
don't
have
right?
to be, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they're not. Aside from both of them having a buttocks in it, they're not connected.
That
just happened.
Yeah, that was total accident, by the way. It was just like two totally unrelated.
Yes, sure. I was praising the equality of it. Like,
right.
Yeah, I was great. There's buttocks for everyone here in this trailer. Excellent. Thank you. So this expansion is, and we saw this a little bit where you tried to work in the previous League mechanics into like story quest stuff, which I was super keen on. This expansion definitely feels much more deeply linked into the campaign and story, to the point where like Doriani's saying, go back in time and try and change these things that happened in the campaign. I was like, this feels like a major campaign story beat.
So I mean, on now. There's a few things going on there. So like initially, this League, unlike I think what we've done too much of in the past, the storyline develops quite a lot more kind of like through the campaign with different events that happen and sort of link in a lot. And part of the reason originally for that is that one of the things we sort of don't like necessarily about what leagues do is like you've got this situation where you like walk out of town in like, you know, literally the first area, and it's like some eldritch entity is immediately recruiting your services. You know what I mean? Like it's actually very like unfortunate.
Put this rusty thing in your body.
Exactly right. So we kind of wanted to try and make sure that there's a little bit more like it doesn't feel like the world is on your shoulders like right from the get go. Like there's actually like a little bit a growth of epicness throughout the League. So like if we'd have had it so it's like you're time traveling into the past, like the moment you walk out the gate, it's like okay, it's just not quite right. So we decided what we'll do is we'll make so that, you know, there is the temple. We've got a kind of like almost a baby version of the mechanic where you've got a lesser number of rooms, like it's kind of a bit simpler, like to start out with. And then once you pass the sort of key point in the storyline, then it like really opens up. You go into the past, you've got a little more story stuff going on. It did add quite a lot more work.
That's after Act 3.
Versions of a bunch of things and that kind of stuff. But I think it is worth it because it means that it feels like the League has a lot more going on, it just doesn't kind of you don't break immediately the feeling of the world, which has been a problem in the past.
I have very strong opinions on this one. It's like dark horror, gothic, secondary. 3 dimensions deep of, you know, like I'm in the past or in some sort of demon realm now. I don't know what's going on here.
And it's fine as you go, but this is actually one of the challenges I think we're going to have just designing leagues generally, is that they're going to require a bit more work to make them feel right. I mean, even just something as simple as like the Vaal sacrifice circles that you get throughout the world. Normally what we would have done is like make one thing and call it a day. Here what we've done is we've got like 10 or more. It's a ton of variations of those where for like each act we're like, in like for each area we're thinking like, okay, which like we need more of these so that we can use them so they feel natural in the place where they are, like do a bit of material reskin and stuff like that. Like that's kind of the stuff
that's
that
a lot of work.
Now need to do to sort of make it feel like you're not breaking
like
the world stuff.
The PoE 1 style, you know, betrayal basement You know, you just okay, so there's just a
randomly.
basement everywhere, like in the mud flat. It's like, okay, you know,
yeah.
that just doesn't fly anymore at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like we want to make sure that these things are way more believable.
Right.
Like you are actually convinced, you're like, you know, this makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not just in a basement in the mud flat in a swamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Val is a very distinct thing, and it's very like tied to Act 3 as well. So
I mean, I'll be
worried about,
honest. I don't think I've ever, for 1 second, stopped to think about betrayal and research and how there's a basement. It's like, there's a basement. Well, I'm in the basement now. I'm killing shit. I don't know. I don't think I'm weird because of it. I think that's just what you do when you play BOE1. You just yes, on the ground now. You go underground. You know.
tone of Act 1 with the Val stuff, but then like it fits in reasonably well. Like you've definitely taken good care to make sure that it doesn't.
Well, I mean, yeah,
It's
it's,
not
it's
super
a matter of
jarring
making it feel like there's some ancient ruin that then later someone came along, like some Ezomites went there and they built some stones around it because they're like, well, what is this thing? And like, we just thought a little bit about like how would the culture here have reacted to the fact that there was this ancient ruin from long ago in this location and that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And you mentioned to me that this is the bar for what you want to be doing. This is the quality level for what you want to be doing.
So I'd say
expansions for
that
PvP.
like
How would it interact with the Val in the past when you time travel to meet Doriani in Act 3? Or is that 2? Pretty sure that's 3. That's 3. How would the Val react to it? Because it's supposed to be from them, from them in the past, because we're in the present day, but then we would be in the past. So I'm curious about that.
it does sort of I would say here, like the level of polish and the stuff that we're doing, like the amount of content that a league needs to actually be good. Like, you know, obviously when we did 020, the league was a little bit like, you know, it was just the Asmerian spirits, and like, I mean, it was a league, but it wasn't really, didn't have like the depth of content and stuff that you needed. And then with 030, I think we did a lot better. Like it came a lot better, but I still don't think we quite got there in terms
That
of
was like
the, you know,
PoE1 level kind of.
yeah, and then this one here, I think, like, you know, you get up to the level of quality that we really want to be delivering in PoE2, like, you know, post-release and everything, and like the kind of the amount of content you need for a league. Like, it needs to be quite sizable and good, and it did take a lot of effort, but I think it's worth it because you sort of shows you what we can do when we.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like a high bar that you've effectively kind of like locked in committing to for expansions. There.
Well, hopefully I don't come to regret it, but you know, it's well, and honestly, the scope did explode a little bit because when we, I think that one of the things, so when I initially designed the league, I was kind of like, okay, we're going to have like some limited number of rooms. We kind of spec'd it out, and like we, you know, and each one will have a few levels, and it kind of didn't seem like it was that large. But really, in the context of PoE2, it's like, well, if you're going to spend effort to upgrade a room, it needs to feel meaningfully different and have meaningfully better rewards and all that stuff, and it pretty soon expands into like a really huge list of like different combat encounter mechanics and different like crafting mechanics and different rewards and everything. Like, there are so many new rewards and things in just in the temple. It's crazy. Like, you know,
I really hope
there's a lot there.
I really have. There's just the one big worry I have for the league mechanic, and it's still the same thing. It's like, how will the league mechanic feel after the novelty wears off? I feel like it is not going to feel the greatest. That is my biggest worry about the league. I think it's very. I think the concept is very cool. I love it. Right. I think the potential rewards, again, they did a stand-up job. It's really good. But how will it feel hour 1 versus how will it feel hour 100? And I think that our 100 feeling is going to be what makes or breaks the league. It's the same thing I said for Breach, when on day 1 of Breach, when I did the Fortress, literally day 1, I'm like, oh, this is cool. This will suck eventually. And literally before, because like I should move over 24 hours, literally before the day was done, before I was in end of campaign, like I was still having fun, but I already knew that the elite encounters were on a ticking time bomb. Like literally, I will get tired of clearing these walls. I want a button to just wipe them out. Give us a button to just wipe them out. Give me a button to just wipe them out. They never did that, which was obviously unideal, but it is what it is. But yeah, my biggest concern, that is my biggest concern with the league. It will feel very, very fun day 1 will it maintain that? I hope they find a way to make it maintain that. But with a board looking that big and with as much planning as it sounds like we will have, I'm not the most hopeful. That being said, I will enjoy that. I will do it. I've always been a big Over Temple enjoyer. I'm just more worried about for the player base and for like me on like week 3 of PoE 2 or week 4 when I really put time into the expansion.
Certainly the number of expanded crafting options and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I mean, you know, we could take some inspiration from what PoE 1 did with Incursion, you know, in terms of double crops and stuff, but we had to make it work in a PoE 2 context.
Oh, lightning damage.
You know, yeah, there's just a lot there.
Oh, and minions?
Yeah, I've followed your progress with design.
Do we skip?
This one from the very beginning.
Yeah, the funny thing is about that.
Do we skip? I say minion. Wait.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you recommended that I
play
this game
it?
with Loop Hero, and I really enjoyed it. Yes, and then, I mean, everyone's going to think that the game we're inspired by is Blueprints, but it actually wasn't. It was Loop
Guys?
Hero. And
it was so good because I told you about that game, and then
do I skip?
Like a week later or something, you sent me a message like, "Hey, I've made this little program."
Yeah. So I prototyped up like a thing that for what would become the UI for Incursion. We actually ended up. It's funny because this is like the first league I've actually personally done code on in like quite a long time.
You really got into it.
Like, yeah. Because I mean, it was a real fun, just like evening thing to like go and just like, you know, work on this design. One of the great things about.
I mean, didn't he say this was literally one of his favorite leagues, like literally Incursion? So it doesn't surprise me that he was hyped to really get his ideas in there and to the degree that he would like it. So. Yeah,
doing that is like
that doesn't surprise me.
Design changes just in the course of like of writing it, like which I don't think necessarily would have gone exactly the same way if I was getting other people to do it. So yeah, that was really fun. And you know, just make and then effectively the back of it is like the code that I wrote, but obviously the UI of it is like a whole thing that a bunch of other people worked on and made look really awesome. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, what is it like about this one that grabbed you so much? Because you got so involved and so personally, like working on it at home.
He loves Incursion.
I really enjoy this kind of like little game within a game, like little metagame things. And just that dungeon design thing is just a really fun thing for me.
He loves Incursion.
Yeah, it's always.
He was being honest when he answered that.
You know, and I just like coming up with all little ways that they can interact and that kind of thing, and you know, trying to make each feel a bit different and that kind of stuff. It's just a good time.
Yeah, and it's got this like iterative design where you're building a temple, you run it like it's a really small one at first, and then it crumbles a bit, but you're still kind of building on what you're doing each time. Yeah. It's like a weird kind of like roguelike-y thing without being a roguelike itself.
Yeah,
exactly. So with that design then, I'm curious, like does it like fully reset at some point? Like for example, when you kill Atziri or
It never fully resets, but when you kill Atziri or defeat an architect, quite a lot of the temple gets destroyed. So there's this kind of destabilization thing. So it goes back to not the start, but kind of I think it removes like 2/3 of the rooms. There's some number like that it gets rid of at that point, and then you kind of have to build up.
So the goal is not to get to Atziri, is what I'm getting from this. Your goal when building this is not to get to Atziri. It's to just play the league mechanic. But here's the problem with that. If the queen up top has a 100D drop, fuck everything else that's happening here. I will do them as I'm going to the queen. All right? And when I get there, if you destroy 2/3 of it, that's gonna feel not great. So I don't know.
Again, so that's just that effectively means that like when you do those options, you're getting like new reward rooms and things to play. So it's giving you new goals, and then you have to work towards those goals again. And then ideally, those reward rooms can be rewarding enough that the benefit of going back to smaller is sorry, or I'd say the negative of going back to smaller is completely outweighed by the benefits you're getting from the extra rooms that you're able to place.
So you can juice it a fair bit too.
You can, yeah.
There's a lot of like modifiers that are getting added on by each room, and you can place quite a lot of them.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Do you foresee people building out like a huge temple and then kind of not having it decay as much as possible?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it's
absolutely intended that you'll do that. I mean, once you've defeated Atziri enough time.
But here's the problem as well with this design playstyle I'm envisioning, and I could be wrong on this. Of course, I haven't played it or anything, but like, what happens when you build a big ass temple and you haven't killed Queen Atziri? What happens then? you now have this big ass temple where every 5 maps you have to clear and go through all the rooms that still are alive or that didn't get destroyed. And then when you're done clearing this huge ass potential thing with PoE2 running speeds, 2 of them get destroyed and then rinse repeats. So you keep doing this on the bigger temple and bigger temple and bigger temple, and it's just like, are you even motivated to build your temple that big? No one likes huge maps to even begin with. So again, these are problems I'm seeing in the gameplay flow that I really hope they address. I really hope they do, or at least do something about it. Because like, isn't this meant to be like an every 5-ish maps type of thing? It takes you like 5 maps to build the energy to go in. So like, if I'm doing that huge guy every 5 maps, there's a problem. You know, there's actually a big problem there.
You've got the, you know, uniques from there, and you've done like other things like that, then you absolutely will like probably want, like, for ultra end game play, when you really want like the most challenging stuff and you're just like looking to get like, you know, as many double corrupts as you can and stuff like that, you're probably going to want to keep the temple large and specifically not do the stuff that would cause it to destabilize, because if you don't kill the architect and you don't kill its area, then it will you know, it'll only pull you back. I can't remember the exact number of rooms, but there's some number of rooms that go away when it's quite full, and then yeah, you can just juice it really high and have really challenging in-game scaling tier of stuff. Because one of the things we were sort of concerned about is that there is some in-game content that just doesn't really scale as hard as it needs to scale in order to make it properly in-game viable.
Yeah,
we wanted to make sure that this was not the case here, that it actually does scale enough.
Surely we get rewarded for our time.
And to be pretty late game relevant.
Of course.
I mean, Sprint will also help with that problem I had, but we'll see.
How many rooms are on there and like.
Yeah. But also just other things that you want to do, like so for example, at the start of the game, you can only, you know, you can't like store up temple runs, as it were. As you get into the game, then now we start to have it so that you can store up more runs, so that you can, like, you know, map for a while, then, you know, like do a bunch of incursions.
I think we have it that eventually you can do 60 maps and then temples, and then 60 maps, then temples.
If you want. So you can,
if you want,
that's a
you can
lot.
do 6, then a temple, then 6, then a temple.
So you can effectively store 10
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
Nice.
If you want.
I feel like with
That
these
I'm happy
things,
with.
like, now I keep seeing like
10 maps is a lot.
Well, the thing is that we've got so much experience and stuff. I mean, yeah, like, so for example, the whole like taking the currency away from the temple instead of having to craft inside the temple thing.
Yes.
Like, that's just a hard learned lesson from PoE1
Betrayal.
where you know, you just need to.
You say we thought of it, and I have, because I'm just going to bring it up. But like, and a thing about, and this is something that I'm on the fence about a little bit. Personally, but yeah, you know, the thing with the killing architect and Zeri, destroying a bunch of the temple, creating that clash of either farm temple or farm boss, can be quite a divisive thing for people.
Right.
You're looking at Betrayal Katarina, right? And the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we've now on PoE1, we separated those two things so they're not, because it always felt bad doing one or the other. Or it could feel bad doing one or the other, depending on how the balance went. And so you might get a similar thing here. Now, of course, the amount of the temple that can get destroyed is variable, and there's a bunch of stuff we can obviously tweak. But yeah, like getting that right and feeling right will be important.
At least they acknowledge it.
If it is right now, but
at least they acknowledge it. They know the problem is there.
Doing the same mistake they've made last time, which you're not wrong. Except depending on, honestly, having the lever this time in place of how much gets destroyed instead of entire board reset kind of thing. We get to control that a lot better and iterate on that if we need to. So
yeah, that's true. You've already
we've thought about it, but it can. I could see, because I was just thinking about it, going, I reckon people are going to get mad at this. I was just looking at it going like, you know, the idea.
I mean, that was
like,
the first reaction I had.
I either have to pick bosses or pick temple. It can be quite bad.
Well,
so
yeah, that's clear then that you've.
That was the first reaction I had. So makes sense that they.
And it's honestly kind of hard to know with. I mean, even if you
thought about it.
The thing with this sort of stuff specifically is you're talking about that's the type of gameplay that is hard to test internally.
Yeah.
Because how can you do just like you can't really test like what is weeks of grinding gonna feel like, you know? It's yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I expect us to maybe we hit the sweet spot. Who knows? Hopefully. But I could imagine that this is a thing that gets adjusted for sure.
Yeah, so you've made the like the ability to sell like the corruptions, the double corruptions as an itemizable thing you can just take away and sell. Is there any reason to like itemize the temple like we did in PoE 1?
Nah, so that was really more of a band-aid solution in PoE 1 because we didn't have an easy way to change that. Like I'd prefer that the temple is your temple and that you don't sell them, but just that all the rewards are the things that you can trade. Like that, like trading the rewards was the reason why we I did our temple itemization in the first place. Yeah, just if this time I feel we're just making sure to design the stuff in a way that can, you know, be
progress
that you can take with you.
Surely incursion in PoE 1 gets this update, right?
No need for the band-aid in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Might actually end up with me farming it.
Crafts.
Oh my god, there's Tota. I can't stream for much longer, so we're going to do some skipping. We're currently at 44:09. I might finish this video like in sequence tomorrow, but I kind of want to see what they say about Tota as well as minions.
Shifting
So going to skip to it.
The topic of endgame, but first, just a brief detour. Trial of the Ancestors, or the mystery content in the new act, and our third means of ascending. What's the progress like on that?
Well, we don't have anything to say at the moment, but yeah, like it'll need to come obviously at some point. But yeah, we didn't have time in this one certainly to work on that.
It keeps coming.
07.
It is really just a matter of when, at what cost, etc. The classic, you know, just resource distribution kind of things where it's like, when are we going to do it? And what,
07.
Instead of this, and we have all these different ideas.
All right.
I've seen Acolyte of Chayula get mentioned a lot. I have not played that class, so I can't speak to it too closely. But is that one that is getting
we've done number
love,
buffs at the very least, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think almost every ascendancy class has some level, like, honestly, some of it is like one node changed, some of it, like, for example, Pathfinder's got 2 whole new notables, and like, we got rid, I mean, Pathfinder just did, you know, that we got rid of the poison spreading notable because it's pretty much Herald of Plague, and we just put the 4-pointer to the 2-pointer, so you get the actual more powerful spike one for cheaper. We got rid of that like multi-choice ailment mitigation, and we were like, wow, it's the Pathfinder, so let's do some cool passive tree stuff. So pulling some inspiration from the PoE 1 Scion, the Pathfinder can now also allocate passives from either the Witch or the Warrior start points, you know, for just
And
like,
in the stream soon. Yes,
builds.
I am.
And I think there's even a new notable on there where normally you have your highway nodes and it's like 5 dex and strength. There's also now 3 other options.
I'll probably end up raiding someone just so people still get, if anybody AFK'd with me on, they still get their rewards guaranteed. So I'll probably end up raiding today.
Damage, defenses, and like cost efficiency or something. So you can kind of like better balance how much damage you want, defenses you want, or reduce. So it's like another kind of cool, interesting thing. So yeah, I mean, that's a class where it's gotten a bit more changes. Acolyte is numerical for now, but again, we want to do something grander with Chaos. It's on
There's quite a lot of just monk
list.
generally improvements as well, just balance-wise, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, every class has kind of got
Been pretty
changes
in the-
everywhere.
in the thick of it.
I think the patch notes currently lacks. We have a thing where we're doing a bunch of changes to specific monsters for being spected.
Okay.
Like when we actually looked at it, we're like, look, if we just increase Spectre overall, it's going to increase the specific Spectres. Like we want to increase the amount of the pool of viable monsters for different cases. Yeah. So here's the thing. Now it takes it from a skills balance team into the kind of monster balance team situation, and like such a different resource. So we're going to start doing that process where we try and do like, you know, 5 to 10 from here and here and here and here per patch, and kind of just start trying to get them to be more viable. Specifically as specters, and honestly you'll find most of the time it's just changing the cooldowns and changing the AI to be like, not because normally they're just like, I have to care about a player.
Are we finally getting differences between monsters and specters? Because if we are, that is huge. This is something we've been asking for years. So if that is what you are saying, Mark, that is huge. That is insane. But I will be taking it. As that, I assume that is what you're saying. I shall hold you to it.
And maybe some minions are there, but honestly, sometimes they just don't even care about the minions. They're just like, nah, there's a player, right? They assume there's a player. because generally speaking there is. And so now when they make a Spectre version, well, there's no player for them to target. There's, you know, only monsters. And so they might be just making some silly decisions about how they're targeting and when they're using their skills and stuff like that. So want to do a bunch of that, but those won't be in the patch notes because the intention's that we're still doing them. I don't want to release a half-baked set of patch notes for that. The other thing is I think we're still doing... I've held back... From the patch notes, I've held back a bunch of the minion occult, specifically a bunch of changes around command skills and stuff like that, just because I want to just do a little bit more iteration before we release that. Couple of Ice Ranger changes. I think that's like a massive improvement to the Ice Ranger kind of play. I mean, using the existing skills, a lot of numerics, a lot of changes to ice fragments, stuff like that. What else is not in there? There's a few other bits and pieces not in the patch notes, and that's because all of our stuff is... And that's just not to say there's nothing changed. I've just taken them out for now because I want to make sure they're right. Otherwise, we have to give some false information and then change it, and it's not great.
You've been updating the patch notes over the course of a week now, so people should still probably expect that.
Yeah, for sure.
Initial patch notes coming.
I know they were like. I mean, I think we ended up changing something like 80 different.
Did I hear the end game pack size convo? Not yet.
Again, mostly focusing on end game.
Once I'm done with this section, I just want to make sure I watch this section that has minions. Then I'm going to go back to 44 now, which is where I stopped, which is basically here, mid expansion. We're still a ways from that.
Down the rarity, so like more of the ones that are meant to be higher value and meant to be higher effort. We've demoted some to be more common. We've promoted some to be rarer, stuff like that, and done a whole pass. But even then, like I know last night we were like, oh, there's like kind of 5 or 6 here that we're like maybe on the fence about. Let's, to be safe, pull them out, discuss them, reevaluate them, and then pull them back in the patch notes afterwards. Just to be safe, because again, I don't want to mislead people.
I saw a question about that from our resident summoner expert in chat. But the monster changes, like for making specific changes to monsters for specters, does that end up in patch notes? That seems like pretty hard to track.
It will this time.
Nice.
Well, I don't think we've done much in the way of actual specific monster changes this time around, but this, what I was talking about doing, will, yes.
Okay.
It just what I'm saying is it won't be in the initial set of patch notes because we haven't finished them yet. So, but they will be, like, I think the patch note says will be in a post later this week, or later, in the week coming. So
a funny one in chat I see is like, when can we get more melee variety? I'm like, you guys literally just added like a new melee weapon. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but the talisman's a melee weapon.
No, melee is never right in any game ever. No, I mean, because it's kind of true, right? Like,
there's a funny phenomenon right now where it's like, whenever we talk about melee, people say that like there's literally only maces in the game, and it's like quarterstaves are over in the corner crying. It's like no one pays any attention to it. It's like doesn't count as well.
But it's
like a half range weapon.
I think that's all the minion talk we're going to hear.
There's always this funny exception with it, but like ultimately, I think what it comes down to is that the game doesn't have swords.
Yes,
yet.
I know.
Is that,
and I know we need swords. Yeah, I get it.
We need swords.
We need swords.
So swords are
funny.
From talking to you, it sounds like swords. Swords are getting added to the game at some point.
At some point, we will have swords. I can promise you that.
Yes, it's the importance is understood. It seems it's a bit too fundamental, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Swords are a bit cool.
But yeah, I mean, we were talking about the ascendancy. So yes, a lot of numerics, some more broader changes. Some getting a little bit, some getting a lot. Like just because it's getting a little bit doesn't mean we think it's in the right spot. At the end of the day, we've just started going. Like Smith of Katava got a decent amount of changes.
Nice.
Kind of a lot better now for sure. We like over nerfed it. But yeah, lots of around the. I mean, honestly, like I want to say 90% of all the balance changes are probably in the direction of taking underplayed and underpowerful things and making them a bit better.
Nice.
That isn't to say that we've successfully made, like maybe at the end of the day, lightning archers are still somehow better than ice archers at the end game. But certainly the gap is narrowed and you'll feel less bad for playing one over the other, and less bad about decisions. And so that's ultimately the goal, and we'll get there eventually. But yeah, huge step in the right direction, I'd say. But yeah, and then things like Outer Louis, all those outliers on the top end, those are coming down a bit.
Outer Louis got gutted, and I'm here for it, of course.
Like just having an uncapped combo thing, when you get damage per combo. I mean, and then obviously you can just one-shot everything in the game at that point, so that's a problem as well. You know, some of these outliers.
All right, that's the minion stuff. Let's go back to where we were.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some really basic crafts that, like, you know, your classic exalted orbs and stuff like that. Mostly, honestly, in the campaign.
Yeah.
And this is so when you're doing the tempo, you're getting not just the opportunity, like, because obviously some of that double corrupt stuff, you're not going to do that at like level 8. You know. I mean, Val orbs aren't even in the game at that point. Yeah. So you have this thing where it's like, well, you don't get a lot of the crafting. Now, there are still rewards. There is, of course, all of that, but there's also just basic crafts like exalts and regals and stuff you can just throw on your gear. Now, you can't take those, and that is an intentional decision so that you feel like you're actually wanting to use it on your gear in the campaign and as you're progressing. Yeah. And you're not, because if you can take...
Thank God this is not PoE1. And the reason I say that is, imagine needing to exalt your chess piece and you're playing a Spectre build or something. Like, all shades of wrong. But it's not a problem in PoE2, so we'll take it.
Most of the time, you're just going to hoard it for in-game.
Right. So it's those things to make the early game have more crafting stuff that you want to just use right there.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, what stops you from just like keeping your results until end game?
Yeah,
You want to use those patches then.
You'll see those and go, I want to take that home, but just use it.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a substantial buff to campaign crafting from my experience of messing with it so far. It's like you basically go in and there's like 6 crafting rooms and you're like just going a little crafting spree of like upgrading your gear. Like,
yeah, I mean the temple. We it's funny because there's always the question whenever we make a league of like, well, what if people always say, oh, there's no reason to do this during the campaign, and it's like you really have to incentivize that to make it so that no, there's actually worth doing. Like you're going to get a substantial power boost if you decide.
It's also going to be a substantial time commitment though, so also something to note.
Yeah, you could. It seems like you can kind of like hold off as well. Like you can be like, oh, my gear's kind of okay now. I'm going to do that a little bit later.
You always want it to be both feeling rewarding and give you obviously an advantage, and also not feel so mandatory that you're like, ugh, what?
Yeah, it felt like kind of a bit optional in the sense that like, oh, I really need some gear upgrades now. Let's go into the temple and spice up all my gear.
Perfect.
Nice. Perfect.
That's what we want.
Yeah, cool. And it is interesting that you've got this like raiding the broken down version of the temple in the beginning, and then it basically changes into this whole other thing halfway through the campaign. That's story beat there.
The other thing about the...
All right. I think this is where we're gonna end stream. I do have to get the rest of my night activities going so that I can actually get some rest because I have work in the morning. But I think I'm going to finish whatchamacallit. I'm going to finish the live stream or the Q&A tomorrow. I'm going to not watch it so you guys can get the authentic reaction to whatever new information they might be giving after this. Other than that, what are my thoughts on everything we know so far? You guys probably already know what I think. I'm a big fan of League mechanic. I'm an Alva enjoyer myself, so looking forward to it. Have concerns regarding how this is going to feel as you play more and more into the league. If we're going to feel fatigued on running the Alva tempo, and maybe at series very rewarding, so it just feels as complete trying to go for any substantial bonuses because all of a sudden you're destroying your some parts of your tempo trying to get the boss fights and stuff like that. So, you know, well, they acknowledge that. They acknowledge that at least, so it's not something they're oblivious to. And what else? Druid specifically looks fucking cool. The Wyvern itself looks insane. I don't know how I feel about the current known ways to summon wolves. That is the one. And other than wolves, I'm very disappointed at the fact that there aren't other minions. But who knows? Maybe there are and they just haven't been revealed. I doubt it, but who knows? It's possible. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I doubt it. Like if they was there, they would have shown it. So I think it's safe to assume we're only getting the wolves. that being said, I do think they will give us some alternative ways to use wolves that we don't currently have. You know, I think we'll get that. So I can't be too mad at that, at least. Anyways, I think that, am I missing anything? That's Druid, that's Fate of the Val. What else was in the review that I should be overly concerned about? Not entirely sure. Let me think. Endgame changes. Endgame changes. Them cooling it on the delirium fog, removing instills. W change. I like it. I'm not a fan of the pack size change, but apparently they talk about it later in this stream, but that's going to have to wait till tomorrow, where we will actually get to watch that. Then what else? The tree look the same. I assume they're going to be numerical changes, maybe some keystone changes, but the base Atlas tree look the same. Abyss, we'll see how Abyss is. The fact that we haven't seen any notes on Abyss crafting makes me feel we're going to be sorely disappointed when Abyss come, like when we actually get to test the odds and stuff like that. I don't know if there's anything in the patch notes about them, but to my knowledge, there's nothing about a single omen. So let me just search just in case. Yeah, there's nothing. So all we can do is hope they've not been nerfed. Realistically, if they've not been nerfed, then it's going to be giga like it's going to be a lot rarer to get. It's more expensive. So we'll see how that ends up going. But yeah, am I on tonight? I probably will be at some point. I don't know exactly when, but I should be. I'm not going to bed anytime too soon, at least. Well, need to prep for tomorrow. All right, guys. I was looking for who to raid so that you guys get your drops, and I have found Anime Princess doing what looks like a minion druid simulated run. So we're gonna be raiding Anime Princess, is what that means. Make sure you say hi if you're here. If you're lurking, enjoy your rewards. Remember to claim them. But don't be like me, because I think during base PoE launch, I forgot to claim my, actually no, I got some of the rewards, but I think there was something I forgot to claim. I think it was the reveal rewards I forgot to claim, something like that. I know I have the treasure and stuff like that, but anyways, I'm gonna be back tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. Till then, have a good night.